into the drink.
I didn't. Yeah, I built it.
Get the drink while turning into your
Get out of here.
All I drink. We did asking his caddy for a new ball.
No?
He's down second.
Yeah.
No.
Make sure.
Go.
I get
Got it. Like, hit the course every single time. He switches to pretty straight shots, landing with the drink. 202 years.
Fine.
Go! It's okay. Fortunately, finally stops, rolls right past the pin after a puck gets him closer. This is shot number 10. Yes. 8 over on the day, 80, thanks to that 10-6 Walker and guess what?
I didn't.
I'm baked to
Like,
be
go check
with
the-
the show today. I want to give a
Just
big
watch
shout out
it.
to all the ladies out there.
I saw it. I was like, that's watching it. Wait, it's the whole. Okay, yeah.
Tactical talent, way down the front of their pants. Well done. You're the real MVP.
Second flower.
It's Cleveland.
Well, you guys. I'm gonna go make a point.
Defensive teams in the NBA, the Cavaliers and the Timberwolves, both jockeying for playoff seeding
Like
in
Joker.
their respective conferences. And
Jack Nicholson's Joker.
for the Cavs lately, right? It was.
And there are scenes where he didn't have the makeup on.
Some people feel a win for the Wolves. See how it start tonight. Well, we're counting you down. Yeah.
Yeah, but the cat fucking things up. You made it all blurry. Come on, you gotta get off of here. Yeah.
Lord have mercy. That's an elite team, ladies and gentlemen.
Now what happened here, cat? What you did?
Can you also you worry about you? Y'all do. What y'all gonna do? Stop my keys.
What did you do?
I know you deserve it. Congratulations, ladies. Being exact as wonderful as you are. Go do your thing.
Whatever. Tell them everything they want to hear. Yeah, ladies, you're incredible. You're amazing. You're the bestest thing that ever happened.
Exactly.
It's just what women want to hear.
Thank you today, ladies. So what figured Ethan Becky having our senior writer Ramona Shelburne, the fabulous Janae and Bubaka and Malika Anders, and we interviewed we set for a fantastic doubleheader here on ESPN. The team food out. It was great. Leading Timberwolves in town, looking to build up. I'm not going to show you we made here because in the first game without Carlisle Towns, who has a tournament that's this, Anthony Edwards put on her with Miss Champ so well. It's easy to forget he actually briefly exited the game with his own ankle injury. Twice. And then had this career highlight block. Still
Iconic Golden State trampoline. No, that is one amazing, probably the best of the decade.
Oh,
Wow. And he just gave himself flags.
yeah. Just like installment of Anthony Edwards. No.
All right, everybody get a nice view of the clock.
26.4 points. It's on pace to be
Thank you.
So not Kevin Garnett, not Kevin Love, not Cat, but Anthony Edwards. Becky, what message did
Anthony Edwards.
He sent the message that I am more than
We're gonna
willing
start
to
coming
be
to call it
banned
the
while they wait this.
NR,
You know,
NRVA. The
What about the
desire that
The
you
NRVA.
What did you call me?
love to see.
The No Rules Basketball Association. Got no rules.
I'm just kidding.
When
Yeah,
you're
You
with
ugly.
the organization.
You ugly. You got no rules. You ugly. You ugly. You like that one, didn't you?
Stupid, dude. Why that one in like 1,000 years? Hey, we grab that off the floor.
Excited for the Timberwolves, but also-
So he doesn't chew it. He's got it in his
see
mouth.
Anthony Edwards
In his
raise
mouth.
his game without
Oh,
Carlisle
shit, I don't-
Towns?
give me
Before
that.
we dive into that a little bit, Sinead,
That's all this one.
just how serious
No, this-
is this injury for Kiro? Tell us.
Well, but when you have this injury, you have a choice. It's a meniscus injury, and you can say, all right,
So,
try
I
to
don't
play
know.
through it and
People
see
ask
how it
me,
goes, and you never know if
Or
it'll get
they
worse.
think it's like I'm biased against basketball or,
Surgery now.
No, it's mostly just flex machines.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
not to
but-
mention, what that feels style. Not to mention the fact that she was-
That's what I got there.
Yeah,
Megan, well, not Megan Wally, but
See, before Wednesday.
was that? No, it was
yeah.
Deborah Messing.
Give her a message.
That's just to mention the blacks and the Jews or something like that. He was like, he was like, oh come on,
You
kid.
know what though?
Come on.
Challenge and Edwards is out. Give 30-second 3-point.
What you did? You got to get on their computers.
Willing to take on that assignment on the keep
Back on.
the ship afloat, and to me, that's the most impressive thing.
He was questionable coming into this game, but knowing Anthony Edwards, he is
How do
available
I
to
keep
play
him
this
off?
one after rolling that ankle that you saw in the last game. But now we're marching towards the
Yeah.
season. The Timberwolves are trying to secure that seeding so they can have home court advantage for the playoffs. Important is that for them?
I think it's really important, but I also think, and I talked to Chris Finch, the head coach of the Timberwolves, that you know, this isn't ideal for
Oh,
him right now. Like, oh, they found obviously
Trying to maintain a seal.
there, but they have 60 games from last year.
What?
Sounds scary. They have a lineup of last round.
Why are you looking at me
That's before.
like that?
They hated me all day. So you're new. Then like I have what's going on?
When
Like, oh, me?
Oh, I say they see people.
it's the like,
They're not used to seeing people.
Because
So he's like,
years, 20, some 3-point shooter, so we got. Start team 50, right? But still, yeah, make
Real
it.
thing is, like, anti-basketball. And there was, I think I collected more basketball cards than I did,
it's got a Shaq rookie card.
I think I have one too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to, but I mean, it's probably not like a whole lot these days, but.
You know, I mean, I collected all these basketball. I mean, we were running out there. We literally ran the UCLA offense in high school. We ran on the playground. We were the Lake Show. You know, we fast break and Laker breaker.
It's crazy because in high school they used to call me
And
Black
so when I
Mike.
say when I give an opinion about basketball now, they think that, oh, you don't want the Sonics, you don't want the NBA. I'm just like, no, listen to what I'm saying and stop being offended.
What do you mean the new guy?
You know, stop being offended by the fact that I don't consider the NBA a legitimate league anymore. It's because they don't even enforce their rules.
Or no, you don't get
Because I will
It's
watch.
not
I
that-
watch.
you're-
I watch.
you're wording it
I watch
wrong.
the Great Britain basketball
listen
league more than I do
you're
the
not.
NBA.
It's like the NBA is a legitimate league.
No, it's not.
It's the sport that they're presenting you is not legitimate. It's not balanced. It's not a fair actual. Right? And now you see why I got pissed at fantasy football. Because I'm like, I just want a fair
But
competition.
that's
You know what I mean?
fantasy football.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking
This
about
is-
consistency.
Where
We're
I'm
like
like,
about a league that
talk about a league where I want people to pay money and I want a fair competition. That's all I wanted.
and I
Yeah,
know
but
that
those
Julian
bullshit
and everybody
fuckery-
else was going all through the whole season. I saw you making moves all through the whole season.
Oh, this past season, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
The past
so
season,
you're still.
so I
bringing
had a
up-
bunch of
Why are
people.
you
Up.
bringing up old news then?
That's what I'm
years ago,
saying. Remember,
2
you were
years
telling
ago.
me like, dude, and I'm like, I just like my spirit is
Because I
clean
think I just
competition.
think that you were kind of just the fact that just because you weren't in on it, you know,
I just
that
think-
you thought that it wasn't actually happening.
I didn't like the fact that Danilo knew the guy, and the guy had no intention of playing, so he just dumped his whole squad off to Danilo, and nobody even noticed it. So nobody even like tried to fucking vote it
And so who cares?
veto
You
it.
know,
Who
you
cares?
do
It's
it.
just like, come on, man. And so what I was trying to point out is literally what you're pointing out now. You're like, I like a fair competition. I don't like to be a part of something that's full of bullshit and fuckery. I don't feel like it's a real game. You know what I mean? Like I can't be. You can't even watch the NBA because you don't feel like
But
it's
you're
a
trying to
real game.
compare- you're trying to
You feel
compare-
like you know what I mean? You're a part of something that's
You're
bullshit.
trying to compare what was it, 8 people in a fantasy football league
No,
versus
but-
a
which
multi-billion
is-
dollar industry
That's what I'm saying. Like, look how passionate you are about this. You know what I mean?
versus an
It was the same-
8-person fantasy football.
You can
Where it was
you can
just
shit
where
all over
we're
fantasy
going
football.
into it, it was
You
like, hey,
shit all over
doesn't
fantasy
mean-
football. You literally were telling me how pissed you
There
were
was
about
no-
that you lost to me in fantasy hockey, and you're not even playing against me. You're playing against a
You thought that was
ghost of me.
legitimate. You thought that was
And you
legitimately
were mad.
upset.
Come on, man.
I was not upset. I mean, that conversation lasted all of 10 seconds.
That's the point I'm making, though. All you wanted was a fair competition, right? It's more fun that way, right?
No, I told you guys, I told you going
You're
into
like-
that. I told you going into that, and it's hey, I'm just trying to go into this so when we start, if I start a league with anybody else, I at least know what I'm doing. So if somebody invites you, I'm going to be prepared.
I don't.
I need.
You don't understand why what I did was any worse than what Danilo did.
Because you were the only one.
No, I wasn't. The other guy, whoever Danilo had, was doing the same damn
No,
thing.
I'm saying you're
know,
the
his
only
best
one who
players-
was crying about it.
No, I
Nobody else. Robert wasn't crying about it. Julian wasn't.
Nobody noticed it.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And every time you brought it, the whole rest of the season, that half of the rest of the football, that you were the only one bitching and crying
I
about.
was not. I did it once. You were telling me that I was taking it too serious. And I was
Elvis wasn't
no, I'm
complaining.
not.
Ellis wasn't complaining about it.
like,
What's her face?
they because they were all in other leagues, so that league didn't matter to them. They were like, whatever. Nobody gave a shit. And I was like,
Exactly. So why?
exactly. And
so
I
why
wanted
were
to be
you-
a part of a league where people actually tried and gave a shit
So
and didn't
you
cheat,
could've-
and the commissioner
if you
actually kept an
And
eye on
find-
things,
and
and
find those
like that was it. I wanted a real league, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in a league. And then I saw this cheating, and I was like, wait a minute, is no one gonna veto this? I mean, he's cheating. He's clearly cheating. But and they were like, well, other guy doesn't want to play. Whatever his name was, he's like, well, he doesn't want to play, so he just dumped off. I'm like, well, why didn't he put him on the waiver wire so we all had an equal chance to get those players? Why did he give them all to Danilo? I at least dumped all my players onto the waiver wire.
That basically went to your corner and cried about it.
I didn't cry about it.
While the
I
rest
said,
of
well,
us
this
were
is not
still,
gonna be a fair competition.
so the
And
rest of
I'll
us,
give it every because who won that year?
I couldn't even tell you. Right?
You know who won that
No,
year.
I don't.
Danilo won that year,
Did you
dude.
win?
Yes, he won that year.
I have no idea because
does it feel like a legit
I think
win?
you were trying to make it like a serious thing.
That's what I wanted.
That's what you wanted. The Kaylee, who started the league, was like, "Hey, it's not a big deal. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
It's not exactly." But you wanted to make it like cutthroat,
No, I didn't want it cutthroat. I wanted a real fantasy league.
and everybody else was just like, "Hey, this is my second league." Everybody
Yeah.
knew that going
It's
into it.
Not me. I thought this was an
And
actual
so when we
fantasy
tried to
league.
explain it to you, you went and pouted in the corner.
I didn't pout. Shut the fuck up. I didn't pout, dude. I literally
That's
gave
every-
everyone my players.
Exactly. You were the
Danilo
only
didn't do
one
that.
quit. Everybody else kept on playing.
I didn't quit. The other guy fucking quit and gave Danilo all his players.
Everybody
Nobody
else
said
kept on
anything
playing
about that guy.
because
Nobody
they
was
care
pissed
less.
about that guy. He literally gave one guy all his best players. I gave everyone an equal chance. At the very least, I was fair. And I was like, well, this is clearly not a fair fucking thing. I didn't want to be part of this.
I think
So
what I'm
everyone
saying-
can have these players now. I'm out. And I think the fair way.
But here's the thing. I did not hear one other person bitch about it.
Exactly, because it wasn't their main league. Now, if it happened in their main league, do you think they'd be bitching? That
That's
was
the
my
point. I
main
think-
league. And I was
Exactly.
like,
So
fuck,
I think
man, my mistake.
And I think that's where the problem lies, is the fact that
That
you
was
were-
my main
you-
league. I thought we were going to
you
have
had
a fun
nobody else to
competition.
rely on.
I thought we were
And
going to
so
have a
that's where
fun
you're-
competition between coworkers, and no one took it seriously. And I was like, well, damn.
You're the
I
one that
wanted to
you
take
knew
it
that you knew
No,
that
I
going
didn't.
into it.
No, I didn't know that, man. No, I didn't.
Taylor
And that's
said
why
that-
the very
and-
next year I started my own league, and then I was in control of. Okay, you know who's doing. There were trades and everything. And I kept an eye on all that shit because I was like, no cheating. Everyone played fair. And what happened? I ended up getting like second to last place. You know what I mean? If I wanted, I could have fucking cheated the whole year, right? But I wanted a fair competition, and I accepted that my team was trash. Despite how hard I fucking tried, dude. And that is, to me, I can accept that instead of losing to a guy who fucking cheated all season and thinks he won the
So
championship.
you don't.
And you're like, you
I
don't win
think you're
shit,
missing
dude.
the
You
fact that
cheated.
Nobody else was crying about the fact that we lost it.
Because it wasn't their main league. And me, I was under the impression that everyone here was going
Well,
to
then
have a
you
good competition.
misunderstood when Kaylee said.
No,
it-
Kaylee didn't come to me for that. It was Cliff.
They said it's
And
not
Blue-
a
sports
serious.
fan.
It's not a serious league. This is just for fun, something to do.
Nobody
at
said
work.
that to me, dude. I literally was talking to Taylor, all these people, and everyone, and I was like, yeah, you know, and
And
then I was like, well, you know what? Next year I want to have like a draft party. I want to have like a real draft. I want to have like a fucking, you know what I mean? And I tried to put it all together, and no one wanted to really take it seriously. So I'm like, all right, well, this is clearly not panning out. I want to be part of a serious fantasy league.
You need to find it. Then.
I've been trying for freaking years, and then I gave up, and then this is what happened when I try again. Because I'm like,
I
look,
think
dude.
you're searching for the wrong people. Then.
I don't know. I think I'm talking to sports fans and stuff. I'm like, are we gonna play some fantasy, or are you just gonna like dear? I'm like, I want to. That's why I was like, all right, it's gonna cost money to get in this league. There's gonna be stakes at odds. If you get last place, you get this. If you get first place, you get, there's gonna be first. Like a real competition. And nobody wanted it, and I'm just like, dude, you guys are, come on, man. What's so?
I think you were
I
trying to make. I think you were making people wanted to do it a certain way that they didn't want.
I was trying to start a fantasy league, and I was open.
You were asking people to do something that they didn't want to do.
I was literally asking people, well, how do we want to do this? I spent months putting that shit and asking the people, getting emails and asking them, like, this is what I want to do. Is that cool? I was thinking barbecue, the dog park, bringing dogs. Yeah.
You ever notice his name is Bolognovich? Bolognovich?
No.
That's his last name is Bologna Vich. V-I-C-H.
Bolognovich.
Bolognovich. It's his fucking name, dude. That's hilarious.
Looking at Brad.
Yeah, Garrett. Brad Garrett.
All right. What game?
Well, right now there's.
Let's see. We got Penn State versus Iowa.
But that might be a wrestling or hockey.
I know. I hate how it doesn't tell you this part.
Well, it did, but you went over it. So down, maybe it didn't.
No, it never tells you like in this little.
Yes, those are best. Because
This is-
men's or women's, Mariner replays going on. Let's look at Penn State one.
That's what I just said.
Let's check it out. It's FS2. It's
It's
Okay.
hockey. Hey,
exactly. Sometimes you actually have to click on the channel. You spoiled.
I know, dude.
I mean, I can fast forward, but you never take. Kids these
The one
days.
thing I don't like in this is the fast forward feature isn't as good as YouTube. At least YouTube has the little picture that pops up so you know where you're at.
No, it does.
Here it doesn't do that. Just wrong. It'll just bump up a few seconds and then you know what I mean? Like you gotta
Maybe I'm thinking of it.
it's like a normal fast forward feature, whereas YouTube has that extra window. So you can actually see.
This is
What do you mean?
this is the interesting game right here. This is the second of a home and home, but there's been a couple days in between and the trade deadline. Kraken traded away Alex Wenberg, and then they were about to trade Jordan Everly, but instead they signed him to stay on the team instead.
Yeah.
So it's like the Kraken are like right in that in between still because they have all these kids that are coming up out of the AHL and their different minor league teams.
Uh-huh.
And it is stuck not being able to be a full-on playoff contender because they're still growing these young kids who they have some great young talent. Like everybody's looking at, they have it. You put them in at least top 10, maybe top 5 in minor league prospects, and it's
Al Riyadh Al Halal.
Saudi Premier League. Everybody goes there only for one.
Why is
thing.
this? Why are all the teams called with Al?
It's just part of their language.
Yeah, but like literally every single team.
Yeah.
They'd be like, and these the ones they show. Wonder what it means.
Well, you got your phone right there. Google it.
I know what halal means.
Yeah, what does it mean?
No, I mean I know what halal means. I hear halal.
Jimmy, find it.
Why do all Saudi Premier League teams start with Al?
What does all this Arabic?
It means the.
Okay,
It just means the.
or like I said, it's just part of their language. Like, man, Todd,
Well, you know what I mean? It's like the Red Sox, the Yankees. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
yeah,
Al halal, the whatever halal.
yeah. They could also be, perhaps, I don't know Arabic, but it's like giving it like a not distinction, but like a Mr. or a Mrs. It's the whatever. It's that initial prefix.
They literally it just says it just means like it goes
No, I'm saying like, but in the Arabic language, I'm saying that
Al Hilal means the crescent. Al Shabab means the youth. Al Ittihad
And that's what I'm saying,
United?
all might, if that means the, it might be just the pronoun. That they have to use in the way that the language is spoken.
Well, yeah, it's the. It's
So-
like there's no gender thing.
So I'm not saying gender, or I guess that is in a sense kind of like, but the way that they present,
Yeah.
their language.
I'm
it
trying
has
to
to-
say
it has
the
to be
dignity.
included.
I'll
Because
not
there's
see
a
it.
certain either formality
It's
about
the
it or
victory.
whatever.
And Alameda means the union.
What-
So yeah, it's just
what-
the. It just means the.
Well, ask what AL means in Arabic.
That's what it says. It means the. It means the. And it's like, why do so many teams in the Saudi League start with and the guys Musab? I'm sorry, he's Arab. Clearly, he speaks whatever they speak.
Yeah,
It's
but you get it.
So yeah, but he's saying it just means the. It means the. It's the.
Yeah, it's like I said, it could just be like a way that the language is. And
Yeah, he's saying it just means the. Thanks, it's been bugging me. I'll your mom. Your mom?
your mother.
Yeah, so he says that's wrong. Alcoholic because it's Al Bundy. The Bundy.
That's hilarious. That's actually fun.
Yeah, right. What team are you playing for in the Saudi League? I play for Al Bundy.
Al Bundy. That's actually the freaking best. Yes, Al Bundy.
Oh shit!
I love that guy, man. Honestly, he's like one of my favorite people.
Oh man.
Ted O'Neill.
Oh yeah, dude. That show is great. If you ever go back and watch replays on YouTube of him and all the times he insults his customers in the shoe store. It's fucking great, dude. He has some legendary burns that you're like, wow. Fucking yeah.
And that's what that's what I'm
Shit's
saying.
on fat,
If you
dude.
look at like some of his old movies and his career,
Yeah.
he
Ed O'Neill, yeah.
Ed O'Neill and then his I don't know. I just think
Christina Applegate.
I think he doesn't get as much credit as he could deserve because his timing is good. The fact that he was dealing with the subject matter
Do you
that
remember when he was in Wayne's World? Where he was the fucking Vietnam vet that would keep having like flashbacks while he was like talking to them, like he's like wiping the counter at the diner at Stan Mikita's diner.
well, I think
He's
that
like-
the fact that he's a guy that was given the subject matter to be a certain type, a certain subject to a certain character to play.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not easy to like say, you know what? Because you could have said, you know what, I don't think that deserves to be on TV or in a movie, or something to that degree, right? Whatever. But he took it and presented it for the way it should have been observed, such as it's a fucking joke.
Mhm.
The fact that people actually talk like this or think like this
Yeah.
is the joke.
Yeah.
And he was essentially, to use a phrase, man enough. He was a big enough person. We'll put it that. He was a big enough person to take that role and do tremendous things with it. Because he still does it to this day in modern, or when he was in the Modern Family show, where he was still kind of that same kind of character that he was in Married with Children, but he showed the evolution that human beings should be taking by now, because people do grow in intelligence. They do understand the growth of the human element of people, and that we should be grown enough by now. And yeah, we might not, we might have, hey, not my thing, but I'm not going to hate on somebody else. I'm not going to physically or emotionally harm somebody over it. Not my bag, but I'm going to crack a couple jokes about you. Because that's what people do with each other. We crack jokes on each other because we kid because we care, right? What was that? The old Scott Van Pelt line? We kid because we care, right?
It's funny because it's
And then there's that.
that's Simpsons. You see episode of Simpsons where he's watching comedian on TV? He says, what? We're driving a car like this. Shit, that means we're driving a car like this. It's like- and then Homer Simpson's like, it's funny because it's true.
Yes, it's different. Let's just go different. They making movies. Super prognosis nightmares.
Oh,
Oh,
I haven't been in the movies in this. I
I
don't
don't
know
to blame but yourself.
I mean, right now, what's out?
Tofu Panda. For a lot of things out there, right?
Yeah, it's all like sequels and remakes.
I invited you to a movie and you couldn't because you were short. Because the seats aren't able to sit for you.
What are you talking about?
The like I said, your back is hurting.
When I sprained my back,
And so you can't make it. I mean, you've got
I couldn't make it at that time. But now I'd be fine. But I was like, I was fucking literally like, oh my god, dude. I remember walking out of the clinic because I went to the clinic right here. It's like a block and a half away. And he just goes, he gave me the prescription and everything. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was supposed to go pick this up. And like, dude, I'm like walking out of there like every step I take, I'm like spasming. And he,
always like that.
and he was like, yeah, you just go to the fucking Bartel up here. I'm like, what? How the fuck you expect me to get that? Crazy how they. And I don't know how to order my prescriptions on DoorDash. Hey, yeah, that shit was fucked up. Get right back in the block. For like months.
That's the nature of being alone. You know.
Oh, no.
So
Yeah, born alone, die alone. I can hear right down there. You don't even have what? And you gonna get it.
so do you have I'm not sure how much college basketball you paid attention to.
A little bit.
You got any thoughts on NCAA tournament and what may or may not become, because it's all different. You got, I mean, Coach K's not in it anymore. I mean, you got essentially
I know Kansas wins is all right.
it's almost as legitimate of a tournament, like tournament.
Yeah, it almost
as
like the
they've
first
had
year.
in a number of
It
years.
could be a lot of people this year. I mean,
It's actually legitimate. It's not just story names of
well, the Cougs don't look so bad, to be honest. They did last night, but they're not. I mean, they have a legit chance. Huskies might not make the mix. I don't know. We'll see. But
I think that for me, I mean, we're really going to talk a little bit of local right now. The UW is a dangerous team, but they could also be easily knocked out of the Pac-12 tournament in this first game. So, if they caught a run, I wouldn't be surprised. It would be awesome to see it happen, and I think that they have the talent. I want to say,
I think Syracuse has got a shot this year. To be honest, Syracuse is legit.
so I think that UW has they probably shouldn't, and they probably won't. Like all odds say that, but I think that that's the case for.
I'll tell you.
I think that's the case for a lot of teams in the NCAA.
I'll tell you who
now.
I'm rooting for this year.
And you know
Who's
what?
definitely getting a ticket to the dance, and that I'm rooting for this year. St. John's, Rick Pitino, baby. We going this year. We're actually good.
Well, you brought the extra New York to that.
I'm just saying, man. And ironically, Bubo
Dude, you
shows
stink.
some St. John's games, and I was like, holy shit, I'm watching some actual St. John's basketball, and I'm not fucking in Queens.
I love that. I mean,
Bro, St. John's, I was a big fan of St. John's.
we were out here. My dad, we watched. The fact that we had ESPN was like a godsend to us guys in this house, because, I mean, my dad bent over backwards for my mom, because, hey, I respect you and I'm not gonna like overbear, yada yada yada. And as much as overbearing as I actually am, I still, so that's when my dad enjoyed watching the hockey game with us on Hockey Night, when we got to watch Gretzky and how
In New York,
and
in Rangers meeting.
and so those were special.
That's Gretzky. Let's face it. Rangers Gretzky. Come on, baby.
I mean, that's why they got beat out by LA in a trade, because they were too chicken shit as opposed to LA to bring him to.
You guys
How do you like them apples?
LA didn't do shit with that trade.
Big Apple.
We at least Gretzky at least give us a shot.
Was, okay, so who was the coach for the Kings when they brought in Wayne Gretzky?
Oh,
Well, I know you know this.
I know this. Barry Melrose.
Very good. Very good. Well, the Steve, he's not doing well. His health's dropping. That's why he's not on air.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and it sucks because.
Oh no, he was one of my all.
So on ESPN, going back to where we were starting, Mr. ADD here.
Yeah.
We not hating on we're not belittling anything or anybody.
Look, relax, bro.
I know.
You
I
can't
just wanted to make
it's
that
just
statement
facts, bro.
because we don't know who might or might not be watching.
Bro, it's back.
So-
I haven't had a drop of beer or anything. And
It's
I'm
the
partying.
Minnesota.
the NCAA Monday night was great because we got to watch Big East basketball.
Bubble
hey.
Butt's good.
He went over. You might be in the bathroom taking a shit.
Hey,
Uh,
biscuit.
yeah, that's gonna stop him. He's sitting there.
He's like,
I can't hear you, Dad. Yeah, I think that's exactly what you just did, didn't you?
no, I think he's just back there snooping because when he takes a shit, you can smell it.
Well, I've been smelling something over
Well,
here
you'll
for
smell those
like
farts.
25 minutes.
But when he takes a shit, it's like devastating.
Hey,
You're like,
it was
that's
like,
why
going
He was
back
thinking
to
went
it.
back there in the bathroom when I was
Going
like,
back to
I smell
instead of
shit.
talking about dog shit. Is Monday nights was what we would do is we would watch Big East basketball. It was
Oh,
the
yeah.
big thing was watching
back in the 90s, Big East basketball.
Big East
Awesome.
Mondays was the shit.
Between
and-
Georgetown and
And Syracuse,
Yeah.
Georgetown, and anybody
yeah, man. So many good
on
teams.
Monday. But then Saturday afternoon was great because you had Billy Packer calling out his man to man. Guys got onions. I mean, we lived for that over here in my house. That's what I grew up on.
Well, yeah.
That old school.
To me, that's like
And-
your version of what's the guy, Dave Needles. You know what I mean? Like I grew up listening to Phil Rizzuto, guys like that.
Right.
It was like my everyday voice.
And so, but for us out here, it was like a treat, and not every sports fan had it. So when we started getting these new casual fans that you don't like playing in fantasy football with, that are not as serious as we might.
Yes.
Less casual. This
Hey,
isn't my serious league.
I did. It was my serious.
Well, it wasn't there, but you get what I'm saying.
Nope,
Um,
not at all.
they for me and my brother when we're listening to the other people try to talk basketball, we're like, dude, you don't even know who Dick Vitale is.
Oh my
Who are you trying to come at me to tell you that this is
God,
the
I hate it when people clearly don't know what they're talking about,
right,
but they're just going on as if
right.
oh,
And-
dude,
and-
that was what it was like listening to Seahawks fans after they won.
I can
So
imagine.
many people going on like,
And-
you know,
and that's why
shit about your team, though, man.
and that's why there was so many. That's why there's so many Seahawks fans. That part, a small percentage part of why they don't like Russell Wilson is because he attracted fans like that. And if it wasn't for him attracting people like that, that were they don't know jack shit. All they want to do is be looked at on YouTube,
Yeah.
And it's just like, can you please get out of our way?
It was to the
because
point
we
where
care.
seeing a girl in a Seahawks jersey would turn me on.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, oh my god,
It's
she's
still
probably
not
not a real
successful.
fan. She's probably obnoxious about knowing nothing.
I
You know, like
I find that this 85-year-old grandma in a Seahawk gear more attractive
oh yeah.
than the 20-something.
Oh my god, because you'd be like, well, yeah. What do you think? If you ask her anything about the team,
Yeah.
so what do you think about the new coach? Who? Well,
And-
they probably didn't even know that Pete
and-
Carroll isn't
and-
even
and-
coaching the
see,
team
and
anymore.
that's the thing is Russell Wilson ushered in those types
Yeah.
of fans,
It's like,
and-
fuck, dude.
and you're just like, oh,
Right now, I don't even name the head coach.
So
You know what I mean? And I'm not even a Seahawks fan, and I can't.
and that's
It's just
part,
like-
and that's part of the disdain of Russell Wilson for a lot for people here in Seattle specific is a farewell tour would it sounds romantic and
I think it would
and,
sell tickets.
but what tickets are they selling? They're selling tickets to that girl that you wearing the Seahawk gear that you find
For season tickets.
disdainful. It wouldn't sell more season tickets. No, it wouldn't.
I think he might.
No,
I think, man,
no.
telling you, you underestimate the value of bringing back your alternative player. You know what I'm saying?
What did we just get done?
Team has
discussing?
done that.
It's like all of a sudden it just went in one ear and out the
And
other.
I'm just saying, like,
it's not sticking.
it
with
happened
you.
to Brady. Brady went to Tampa Bay, and suddenly they were selling, like crazy, and he wasn't even their guy for 99% of his career. Sometimes people just sell where they go, and I think Russell, if you just brought him back to Seattle and paid him the respect that he actually earned out here pretty hard, I think at the very least you'd be doing a lot to repair a relationship that is pretty important to your franchise. You have no one even close to him as far as the accomplishments.
Matt Hasselbeck.
No. Matt Hasselbeck, no. You cannot compare Matt Hasselbeck to Russell Wilson.
He brought him to the Super Bowl.
Okay, come on, man.
The
Let's not
Super
even
Bowl
do
that
this.
they were robbed of.
Let's not do this, dude. Matt Hasselbeck will never smell the Hall of Fame. Russell Wilson right now is a Hall of Fame.
And you know what? I
He's
think
all
that,
fit
I
right
think I think that was actually more marketing going into before he won the Super Bowl. He were already talking about him being a Hall of Famer, and he hadn't even won the Super Bowl yet. There was talks on sports radio show, which I listen to religiously here in Seattle. They were saying, "Hey, if he pulls this off, it will cement his Hall of Fame." Whereas
Maybe.
and so that was the year. Anything, it wouldn't matter who. But if you were to, I wouldn't say a real Seahawk fan, but that's kind of the essence of what I'm talking about, is people underestimate how valuable Matt Hassel was in the Seahawk.
I think you're underestimating how valuable Russell Wilson.
And all he did was just accomplish one more task. That's all he did.
One more task.
Yeah.
He made you perennial contenders. Every year you were in it while he was in the Seahawks uniform. Every single year.
Hasselbeck was doing that prior to Russell Wilson.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He was not having Russell Wilson's success. He was not throwing for Russell Wilson's yards. He was not running like Russell Wilson. He didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't go to a second Super Bowl.
He went
You know what I'm saying? Like, Russell Wilson came 1 yard away from winning a second Super Bowl. And a poor coaching decision away from winning the second Super Bowl.
So you're saying that they shouldn't have trusted Russell Wilson.
They should have trusted.
All right. They shouldn't have, because why?
If
Because
Russell
maybe
Wilson was
he's
calling the
not that
plays,
good.
he would have called a running play himself. He'd have been like, he was probably just as
So
confused as
maybe
everyone else.
Russell Wilson isn't as great as people want to make him.
Okay, man. Listen, you were.
Because
I
you
can't
just
believe
said
you.
it.
Wow, you were like, oh my gosh,
He
dude.
shouldn't have been
This
the one
guy
to
has
throw
done
pass.
so much for
He
you.
should have been the one
God,
smart enough to hand the ball
I
off.
could never be a Seahawks fan. If this is how Seahawks fans treat their fucking greats,
Higher standard.
oh, my higher standard, my ass, dude. Literally, the only guy in your fucking when your team, you won your first Super Bowl, and you're just like, yeah, fuck this guy, fuck him, fucking what?
Because he was
Dude.
two-faced with anybody.
Too big. He's an athlete. You gotta separate the art from the artist, bro. Like fucking, he did so much for your talent, for your sports image,
Yeah.
your franchise.
Thank you for bringing in.
He made the Seahawks a legit franchise
Thank you
again.
for bringing in the Seahawk fan who we now just say.
Bro, you had so many years of winning football, and all you can say is "fuck that guy." Literally, you stopped winning
But
when
when
he
you
left.
say that about it, but when you say that, hey, in New York, that's what we say about, hey, you didn't win a World Series. I mean, you say that about New York fans having a higher standard.
No, once a
And-
Yankee,
hey,
always
but
a
as
Yankee.
soon
It's
as
always
I
like that.
say out here in Seahawks, we have a higher standard.
We do have
So-
a higher standard, but we don't fucking curse out our greats.
And I mean,
Here, we don't say
we
fuck
don't
that
give
guy because he
away
wasn't a nice
we don't
guy.
give away.
Dude, literally,
It's
Babe Ruth was one of the most douchiest
We don't-
men to
we
ever
don't-
live. But we still go, hey man, that's fucking Babe Ruth. Respect though what he did to the Yankees and our team, and you know what I mean. And if he wanted to come back, if he somehow came from the dead and wanted to play for the fucking Yankees again, if that somehow happened,
And what
we'd be
that's
like, well, I mean, it's Babe
exactly-
fucking Ruth, so.
And that's exactly what I'm saying about.
I'm just
Russell
saying,
Wilson
like,
is
we're
out here saying, you know
shit
what?
all over your greatest fucking player ever. It's crazy to me. We don't do that
I
anymore.
know. I hear what you're saying. You're just like, man, I can't believe
It ain't
you like
standards.
actually
He's not
finally.
playing for your team anymore.
It's just like because he cared less about the team than he did himself.
Bro,
Because you even said it. he should have been smarter himself and handed the ball off.
That'd be like you getting mad at like every wide receiver because it's like a wide receiver mentality. You know what I mean? Like that's just they want yards, they want catches, they want the ball to come to them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
But you just said
that's
it.
an athlete.
Russell Wilson should have known better and made a decision to hand the ball off, but he didn't. So what? So that tells me that
He wasn't calling the plays.
he's not as great as he's made out to be.
Whatever, dude. You can say that.
I think it's all
Talk to me
marketing.
when you're
all marketing.
talk to me when you're with your next fucking franchise
Sure.
QB.
You guys,
As a Giants fan that went from Eli to it's not as easy. They don't just come every year, dude. And you're gonna tell me Russell Wilson didn't do shit for your
I'm
team.
not saying
Make
he
things
didn't do shit. I think he's,
make things
I think
worse.
he's an overhyped person.
He ain't overhyped, dude. He did a lot for he did more for your team, literally than anyone else that played for your team. You can't argue that. No one else did.
You know what? Personally, I still think Mike Holmgren did more for the Seahawks than as much as Russell Wilson did.
I mean, coaching, it's two different things.
He-
I would argue that
he-
Carroll did more than the Holmgren.
What I'm saying is, when they brought in Mike Holmgren, everybody says they brought a legitimacy back to Seahawk football because
Briefly.
the
Very briefly, dude. Very briefly. And then they were back to where they were, dude. And then they were right back to where they were. They had no quarterback. They had nobody. Who was it? Who's it? Tavares Jackson? Remember that guy? You know what I mean? Like, fucking, remember Percy Harvin kept having fucking migraines? They were going through they were toiling away with just like terrible coaching and players and drafting. And finally, they got a good coach. And that coach drafted your best player ever in the third
and
round.
they also made the trade for Jamal Adams. That same GM and that same coach.
Yeah, and also Jimmy
So
Graham.
you know what?
and
Sometimes you win, sometimes you
Sometimes you
lose.
win, sometimes you lose. But
Exactly.
you can't argue that you won with Russell Wilson. That's a clear win.
And you
In the
cannot-
third round?
and that's exactly what I'm saying about Matt Hasselbeck and Mike Holmgren is they did things that no Seahawk organization had done.
And then Russell Wilson came and did the same things, and then more.
All they did, he took it to the next step.
He took it as far
accomplished-
as it can
He
go.
went to the next rung, and he was a marketing guy, like we've already discussed. Is he brought in those fans of when you see the girl that's 20 something who doesn't know who the coach is right now, right? And you're just like, yeah, I'm not attracted to you,
Bro,
And
that's
a
what
lot
it
of
was
that-
like being a Colts fan when Peyton Manning
That's
was
what I'm
fucking
saying.
throwing
Is
the
that
ball.
a lot of that could be laid on the personality and the style of player that Russell Wilson is. That's what he brought us.
He
He brought us those kinds of fans.
brought you
that you
MVP
say-
caliber football and won you
you-
a Super Bowl.
but
You
you
want
just
more.
said I don't like these types of fans, and part of that responsibility falls on a personality such as Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. They bring in
Hey, man,
just marketing hype.
You can't. You talking to a guy that had A-Rod on his team. You had A-Rod on your team, right?
And
And you
just
hate
named
him.
him because he was, hey, if you don't want to be in Seattle, you get the
But
fuck out
but
of
if
here.
A-Rod won you a fucking World Series, it'd be a little bit different, wouldn't it?
But he didn't even want to do that here.
I'm
If
just-
he wanted to, he could have done
Exactly,
that.
but
He could
now-
have said, you know
But
what?
then you had it.
He could have
This is
said, you
my
know what?
point.
It's not about the money. I'm here. How about you spend that money to build around me? But he was too, and so we were like, get the fuck out of
And,
here.
and Russell Wilson, at no point was he even the most expensive player on your
And
team.
we said, get the fuck
He
out
was
of
not
here.
even the highest paid player on your
But
team.
he was about to. You don't have to.
Oh, I
pay-
mean, after
and
about
we're just like, hey, you know
you
what?
would think after about
We don't
10
wanna-
years,
we don't
maybe it's
wanna
time for him to
pay
get
you this
paid.
money. It's called that's a smart decision.
Oh God, I can't believe you're shitting all over Nick, this dude.
I'm
It's so
trying to
bad.
get you to understand that that's why people didn't like him. I'm not shitting on him. I'm trying to get you to understand. And you're like, no, you have to like him
I
because
don't
of
think you
this.
have to
It's like,
like it, but you
no,
guys
we
don't.
don't.
You don't.
We
show-
don't have to like him for this.
I don't think you have to like him. I think you have to at least
Exactly.
appreciate what he's done for
No,
your
we
team.
do appreciate it. We say thank you. Thank you for bringing us that next rung on the ladder.
But you still don't have to treat him like shit, dude. You have to respect. You know what I mean?
But
And you have
if
to.
there's anything that I'm trying to get you to, I'm trying to get you.
You're trying to get me to
and
not
I-
like Russell Wilson the person.
I think
And I'm like, I don't know him
you know what?
enough. Just
We
hate
are allowed out here in Seattle to have a higher standard than Russell Wilson. Plain and simple.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me know when you get to that higher Russell Wilson standard.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be a while.
You think so?
Yeah. Russell Wilson's don't just fucking pop up every freaking day. Dude.
And I think he was overhyped.
Oh yeah, overhyped all the way into 2 Super Bowls.
That's why there's
Wow,
Well,
such
that's why
way
there's
overhyped,
like-
dude.
that's why
Fucking
there's
A.
nobody taking.
Meanwhile,
interviews.
Eli, everyone thought he was just the
How many
worst. He's the
interviews-
worst. He's the worst, and he keeps winning Super Bowls.
How
And everyone's like,
many
he's not that
interviews-
good. He's not that good. And then he just wins another Super Bowl MVP, beats the fucking greatest offensive all time. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
it's like.
why.
Meanwhile, us as Giants fans are still sticking up for the guy. You know, and everyone else.
Right, and so
And
that's
Russell
why
Wilson's like,
he's
he's
being
not- still not
invited
good enough.
to how many teams are inviting him as a free agent to come and interview for
Who?
Russell Wilson? Nobody
Oh, the Giants, the Steelers. They're already talking about a few.
has he been invited in by the ownership.
They've already said
He
they're
said
he's
he
got
has
close
not-
ties.
they-
He said
they just
he's
said
got
today.
close ties. This is all agents telling us
They're
information,
saying, but he has not been interviewed once by ownership
bro.
or a
I'm
general
telling you,
manager.
The Russell Wilson is coming so cheap this year. Someone is taking him.
It's all these media types that are talking about it.
Someone's taking
But
him.
there's
This
no-
is agents
there's
putting this stuff
no-
out there. Dude.
Right. But there's no no organizational
Okay.
representative saying, hey, today
Bro.
we are hosting.
Someone's taking.
Nobody's done that.
Not everyone in the draft is going to draft a QB because the first 3 are going to go arguably in the first 3 picks. Bam, 1, 2, 3. The 3 best
If-
quarterbacks
if-
on the
if-
and are
if-
arguably
say-
going to go,
If it
or
was
definitely going in the first round. So then after that,
if
you're left
Peyton
scrapping
Manning,
together, or
Peyton
you can
Manning-
get Russell Wilson for dirt cheap. Literally, you can get Russell Wilson for the same amount of money you're going to pay a rookie.
Peyton
So
Manning right now would get an interview ahead of Russell Wilson. Right now, Philip Rivers it would be a more popular interview, and he would
They're
he would
tied,
say
dude.
a
Peyton
team would
Manning's
come
in his
out and say,
40s.
you know what?
Russell Wilson is 35 years old.
But
He's
so
10
why
years
is
younger
why
than
is it
Peyton
not
Manning.
happening yet?
Because the draft is coming, and their teams have to. The dust has to settle from all that.
But and that's what I'm saying is people would still rather take a chance on somebody else. Hey, we better show that we're interested in Peyton Manning.
No, man, I'm telling you,
But
you think Russell Wilson sucks? He had a top 10 year last year.
I'm saying he's overhyped.
He's not overhyped at all. I think he's underhyped. Man, people think he sucks. I'm like, he doesn't suck. He doesn't suck. He does
He's
not
got-
suck.
He carries more baggage. He's he's such
I
a
was the same thing about Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets.
high maintenance.
So much baggage.
It's not
The
even
Jets seem to be
baggage, it's
maintaining.
high maintenance. You're like, you know what? Yeah, we could do better.
I
You know
agree.
what? Yeah, you just got too much going on.
I'm sorry, but for the amount of money that you'd have to pay,
I
there's
just
no
don't-
reason not to take a swing on it.
You're just
And as a Seahawks fan, I think right now you don't have a solid quarterback situation. So he would be a pretty decent move to be like, well, hey man, like we were getting rid of this guy anyways, but since you're paying his salary, fuck it. We'll have him come in here. We'll have him hype up the crowd, sell some tickets. Meantime, we'll build this fucking mega team.
I don't
And then finally we'll put a quarterback right in there. You know what I mean? And or we could draft the quarterback this year, have him sit behind Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? You know,
Geno-
for the amount of
Geno
money,
Smith
the
is a
risk
more-
versus
Geno-
the reward. I mean,
Geno
come
Smith
on,
is a
dude.
far more popular quarterback than
But he's also a
In
far more
Seattle.
expensive quarterback in Seattle. Far more expensive
so you
by millions. You can't argue that. Far more expensive.
You're gonna get better results with Geno.
I think you need the same results,
Then-
if anything. If at the worst, you get the same results.
So then
At
you're
the
taking
worst.
up a roster spot that could be used by
You're
developing.
not taking up a
somebody
roster
else.
spot. You're freeing up cap room to get upgraded other positions.
So you're
So that when you can finally draft a quarterback, you're paying him rookie money, but you're paying all these other guys that deserve
so you're
veteran
gonna-
salaries.
you're creating
You've got all these
roster
built around, so then you're putting a rookie in a very healthy situation. You're not having this rookie just and then build out from there.
So you
That's
basically what you're
ridiculous.
saying is, so they've already signed Geno, right? So we're gonna put him behind Russell Wilson,
I think you have to trade Geno.
right? And who are you gonna trade for? There's nobody out there to trade,
The teams that would take Geno,
and you're not.
Atlanta. There are other teams out there that would take. They're looking for a stopgap guy. Geno is not gonna. He's not your long term guy. If you're looking at Geno as your long term guy, whoo boy, I got news for you, bro.
I think no. I think everybody out here in Seattle, if you listen to the radio station, the locals who have, they're
They want you
saying
to draft a quarterback.
what's the GM Snyder's already said, you know what? It's an embarrassment that we have only in my tenure, I have only drafted 2 quarterbacks. That is my mistake.
My mistake that he nailed it like the first time.
He's saying
He swung a home
we have-
run.
He's saying the fact that we have
I'm so embarrassed by this home run that I hit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't really get
he
that.
said it is an embarrassment that in my tenure here, we have only drafted 2 quarterbacks. And that's why we are in the situation we're in.
I think
But going back to Russell Wilson to have a Shady Acres retirement party, dude, that's a joke.
it's not a joke, man. You guys did it for Ichiro. You did it for Felix. You give all these guys did it for
And did
you
they
did it
win?
for Griffey.
And did they win?
What did
No.
Griffey win you?
They did it, and they did it's exactly so. That's why you don't do it.
Whatever, dude. So you're mad that they did it for Griffey?
Yes.
That they brought him back to Seattle?
On here,
For
I'll
a
tell you.
retirement tour?
I'll tell you what.
You are not.
I'll tell
You
you.
sold so many tickets that year, dude.
I'll tell you. Ken Griffey Jr. were almost, if he had to become true, he reluctantly went through that process, which is why when he left the team, do you remember how he went out? When his contract or his roster spot was released?
No.
2 days before his roster spot was released, he was caught falling asleep in the middle of a game in the locker room.
Yeah.
He's in the clubhouse.
He's retiring.
Okay. 2 days later, he drove off and didn't call anybody for 2 days. And that's how he announced his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the fact that he came back, he did it as a favor.
Whatever.
He did it.
You're a hater, man. You
Dude,
hate all your
I think that
players.
I just think you're naive to the reality that Seattle has a much bigger they carry much more like, hey, we deserve more than giving out these retirement parties because
Whatever, man. But yet you still did it.
the ownerships did it.
Oh, so blame it on them, not the fans that bought the tickets to go see it.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah, there's a reason why the owners did it. They didn't do it because it would make
And that's what I'm trying to get you to understand is they aren't going to get the same result with Russell Wilson.
I don't know, man. I think they could. I just don't think they want that. I think they want to. I think the new coach wants to go the new school way, draft his quarterback, and
Look at the old oh wow, look at the old Kareem Bill Walton hook shot. That was nice. That was nice. That was smooth. He went old school. He went the traditional Magic Johnson sky hook, right in the middle of the key. That was beautiful. I like that, man. Give me that hook shot all day long.
Told you people sleeping on the T-Wolves, man. They're
People are talking about the T-Wolves. People are out there talking about.
Well, no, because they just had Karl Anthony Towns just got. Was it Karl Anthony Towns that got injured? One of the players, I think it was Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, that was.
Hey, go back to the hook shot.
Man. He's out for like the season now.
Man, take the easy road and show me a dunk. Okay, I've seen that a million times.
Not in the WNBA.
And so that's why it's pretty gay, pretty lame that they do it in the NBA. Like it's so difficult. Make it sound like it's.
That's
so
why I tell you
difficult.
they need to raise the rim.
Oh, there we go.
Those you raise the rim, make the
know?
court bigger.
Oh,
It's getting to the point where these guys
No,
are
it's
giants. They're super athletic giants that can shoot fucking
it's kind of
3
lame.
foot threes,
It's
dude.
not that you take the easiest thing. Let's not say shoot it from the distances.
Bro, these guys can shoot it from across the court and switch it.
But when a woman
see
does it, you gotta hate on it. When a woman does it, you hate on it.
No,
Oh,
I see a
you are
woman
not-
fucking try to play against
Hey,
this,
you're like, man,
this quote unquote poor NBA defense. See her go up against Rudy Gobert and
But-
see if she never made that shot.
Hmm?
He was swatting on another 7-footer. Now you think a fucking 5'7" fucking gonna go up in there and do what? Rudy Gobert would have been like, that shit out of my fucking house, dude. He'd have been like the Great Wall of China right in front of her, dude. These guys are just giants. They're really just like I don't even know how genetically it's possible to get as big and athletic. Have you watched Victor Wembanyama? Dude,
Not really.
this guy he's got like an
Yeah,
8 foot
They're saying
wingspan.
that his brother is the. I just saw a headline.
You can't guard the guy. He can shoot from anywhere. And he can dunk and he can guard. And he's already halfway down the court when he's shooting it. So he's bam under the rim. Where are you gonna go? This guy's right here with his fucking bro, he's literally the next Kareem. And it's crazy to watch this guy. I'm like, wow, he's gonna be rookie of the year, and he's gonna win a few. You know what I mean? He's got what's his name, Popovich, fucking coaching him up. Man, you saw what he did with Duncan. You saw what he did with fucking all them guys, dude. Guys that people did. I mean, Duncan obviously people knew was gonna be good, but guys like Tony Parker, guys like these guys were not gonna be Hall of Fame guys from the get go. Nobody predicted them. Like Manu Ginobili, he comes from Argentina. Fucking
Is your
something.
dog out there shitting somewhere?
You better not be.
Better go find it.
Hey, shitty pot.
Yeah, it's about that time. It's been a couple hours.
Break forth the living in the
Eight. Yeah,
Come here.
couple hours to digest and let it run through the system.
What are you
About
doing?
that time?
Huh? You don't belong back here. This is the no puppy zone.
You know what? I bet you if you set him outside for a little bit, he'll go doo doo.
I bet you fucking gave you 2 slaps across the fucking mouth just because I like it. Come on. Wee.
Yeah, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Let's go make doo doo. Go make a
My
poo-poo.
dogs like to party all the time. Party all the time.
Let's go outside. Outside.
I'm gonna go check them out.
Outside. Let's go. Go for it. Go for it.
Wait, Betty.
Oh, come on, dog. Come on, over here. What?
Hold on. Hold on, dude.
As soon as you started to close the door, he walked over here.
Well, people around here don't fucking warning you, chasing people. Come on.
You just. Here. Give them that opportunity.
Hey. Yeah, positive energy. I'm shaking this thing. Here. My dogs like to party all the time. Tired of cleaning up. You've been slipping out of his collar. Don't put him on. Part. It'll be nice when they finally finish putting up all the gates. Because then if he gets loose, I don't have to worry about him running off somewhere, like out in the street. Yes, I know. But that's people water. You got your puppy water over there. I know how comfortable you're getting here, you know what I mean? Like usually little dogs are, I don't want my dog to be all scared and skittish and afraid and he's a little tough guy, man. He scares the shit out of Biscuit. I think he's like kind of moved up in the pecking order, so to speak. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like I think because I always when I put the food down, he always eats first and Biscuit waits. I mean, it's,
It's probably also a little bit of biscuit understanding the situation. Yeah,
what I'm saying.
that's the nature of being a big brother or an older sibling. Is that,
I've seen
you
it,
know
dude.
what? I could have trounced you I could have ended your life years ago
Yeah,
when I had you up, but you know what? And so you always carry that
Well, it's
mentality.
the same thing with the cat. That dog basically could eat that cat for good.
Yeah. And he understood
But
that.
he don't fuck around with the cat. Like the cat would be like, fuck off and fucking scratch his face to shit. Hey.
GPN?
Yep. Come on.
Well, let's see, it's that time of the day.
Come on.
Go.
Come on. Outside. Oh, babies. Keep an eye on that. I'm gonna clean this one. See, Randall's like the potty all the time. Party all the time. Crying dogs I do, party all the time. Party all the time. They have a big old, a classic style mop. Oof. Yeah, what the shit card.
So I'm wondering why you weren't able to know that usually about 2 hours, within 2 hours, they got to go after these.
What happened?
After about 2 hours, within about the 2 hour range, all right, so in about 2 hours,
What?
uh, the animal's body,
Oh, okay.
like it's time to go pee, and they relaxed, if they have a coffee,
Yeah, you're right.
and you gotta just
I
know
lost
that
track of
shit,
time.
and then you just kind of grow it and grow it longer and longer.
Not much.
That's gonna help you not have to spend as much time mopping.
What? Up. What? What? Rick. Good morning. Smell like hello. Do that voodoo that you do so well. Oh yeah, so recycles.
Oh, yeah, we're still recording, so
Yeah. So that bag right there is recycled. I was trying to get better about separating this.
mattered. It helps.
It doesn't do shit to be honest, but what I heard from recycle guys, they're like all that shit, the paper and stuff. Yeah. He's like the can, the bottles, yeah. He's like, "What, paper?" He's like, they don't recycle that shit because that shit gets burned up. You know what I mean? They just burn it. You know what the bond is?
Hold on, we're still recording, so I'm trying to see.
Yo, mama. Um,
Serious.
dude, fucking last week I drank a fucking bottle of wine,
No.
and then I drank a 6-pack of fucking Bodhi.
Bartles and James.
Bodhi Zappa.
What is that? That is.
It's pale ale. It's fucking delicious.
Oh.
Local. It's from Georgetown. You can.
Mohisava?
It's called Bodhi Zappa.
Bodhisattva? Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce Bodhisattva?
If you look at it.
No, you just call it Bodhi for short. You can see Bodhi. Yeah. Ever since I had the first time I had it was with Larry's Tavern over on California Avenue.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, let me for some oil. Then I realized it was local. I was like, even better. Cool.
Yeah, Georgetown is always,
Yeah, there's
there
always some
there and
local
Ballard are the two,
Yeah.
beer hubs here.
Yep.
It's just always been that way.
Fremont.
Well, Ballard, when white folks started coming out here to Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of the Nordic, Scandinavian, whatever. And because they kind of lost their cachet, they were like being bullied around because they, people like, oh, you guys are goofy, and this and that, we don't like your rules that you're trying to put in place. So you had a bunch of folks that wanted to basically have the Wild West in the city. Yeah, folks who didn't want there to be a city, but yet they wanted to have the city life. So that's
Cool hipsters.
and
That's like a hipster thing.
and
We want to, you know what I mean? Like,
hey,
we want to feel like we're living,
no,
Oh,
no, I'm talking. This is
but with all the amenities of a city.
no, this is I'm talking like before Seattle was a city.
That's what I'm saying. That's like a hipster bohemian kind of mentality.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we have church, but here I'm going to spit on the floor. That's how I feel about
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
It and so
New York.
so that's why all the Scandinavians moved out to Ballard, and so all the a lot of the fishing industry really kind of is still over there in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Well,
and so
in New York, there was a similar vibe.
that's really more people will say that's really a true historical center of Seattle, because the first people that came into and were starting to build the city were of that origin.
Nordic.
Yeah.
Yeah, in New York. Like Manhattan was like nothing but it was just farmland.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden, in like Brooklyn and Queens and all that shit, and like, but it's crazy when you look at the history of how New York started. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Just like,
No, I
holy shit.
started reading more and more about it. It's
It's
quite
nuts.
interesting.
Just even when I hit the 1900s, I'm like, man, so that I remember looking at like, what was it like when my great grandparents showed up? I was like, dang, when they showed up,
It's called New Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah.
It was New York is more Dutch than anything. It was New York. It was farmland.
Yeah.
It was farmers, and then
And Long Island was just like fucking just wetlands
and the fact that they grew into a city was born more out of the fact that they had waterway passage.
it was like, wasn't New York that invented suburbia? I don't know, but Long Island, man, is one big.
Well, that's more. That would be
suburban.
more Rome and London.
Oh, I guess, but
But New York, they saw that, hey, this is a great central location where we have all these waterways that take you and get you to London super fast. And so we can take all this cotton that grows in the South, we'll ship it up to New York, on a train or whatever, and then we can take it by boat to London. They make the clothing, and then they sell it back to the clothes back to the Americans. That was the economy.
did you hear about the other Boeing airplane? Speaking of American manufacturing, dude, what a hit! Remember when it used to be American manufacturing was the standard?
That's what I was telling you about Slayer. That was what Thomas, before we hired you, this what they talked about in the daily meetings was the fact that they wanted, Davide was saying this, was we like the fact that we have the right to the sticker on our machines that say made in the USA. And that's what they're gearing toward. Is like you said, America made in the USA.
Yeah, I know, but it's becoming just like American fucking manufacturing. Half-assed. That Boeing airplane that lost a wheel. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, dude? Boeing just had a mass hiring event. I was like, no thanks. I'm like, because all I hear is it's just a nightmare to work for that place.
Well, if
It's just not
if the
cool.
people, if hey, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of, I mean, I don't mean to be like harsh on the female aspect of this. There's a lot of bitches out there that trying to get hired. You know, oh, I'm privileged, and I'll call them privileged bitches because they think that they're better than, oh, I don't have to follow the rules. No, you got to follow the rules. And just because it's a big company telling you to follow the rules
Yep.
doesn't mean that they're a bad company just because they're big.
Amen.
So quit being a bitch and follow the fucking
Who
rules.
what the rest of us are doing?
You know?
I mean, like,
I mean,
yeah.
quit being a whiny ass bitch.
Yeah, you know, see, this is what I
And-
felt like when, and you know, it's like there's nothing wrong with women on the job site. There really isn't. It's the ones that come up there and claim oppression and claim things are unfair and claim entitlement
But it's also
to things that we as men we're still
But it-
working towards. Like, what the fuck? You just stepped in here and you think you get
but
this
it's
guy,
also
other
the men
thing,
that
you
that
can just
say,
do whatever
hey,
the
you know
hell-
what? Hey, you know what? I got it. I just shush down.
Hey, man.
You just shush your mouth.
Ain't nobody like it. So
So-
let me tell you, man. When I was working at Slayer, right, and I was working with Tabby. Tabby was bitch and she wasn't getting paid enough
I
money.
know. I heard the story 1,000 times.
But multiple times where it's like, what did you do though? What have you done? You're demanding money for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and I kept telling him, like, well, get on the board, like, get on this, learn that you can do it. You know, nah, fuck that, I'm not doing that. And then I made my mind, well, don't expect to get paid like you are then. You know, you want to get paid as if you have all these skills. When I'm the skilled worker here, you know, you're the book. You're at the computer all day. You know, we're not supposed to be wearing earbuds. She's wearing earbuds. We're not supposed to play music. Why? Because Tabby finds it annoying and she can't have it. But she's got her fucking ears, the music in her ears all day. Like, well, I don't get it. You know what I mean? So it was just like driving me nuts how this female came onto the job site and just started making all these demands when she's done nothing to earn any of this, you know? And I was like, why do I gotta fucking submit to all of these demands? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, out of all the people here, I'm the most skilled and the most senior. You know, like, what is going on here? You know what I mean?
Or like a person like me who was
It was like,
asking to get on it, but as soon as you got to pay the person more,
yeah,
and so it's
Right.
just the same thing as anybody.
yeah,
Hey, if there's a way for me to retain money by not paying somebody, then we'll do it.
that's what I'm
And then-
saying. And so
and-
Tabby thinks she won somehow in this whole thing. And I'm like, no,
I wouldn't.
you're
you know what, I think you gotta.
unskilled.
Honestly, I think you gotta let her go.
no.
And,
But no, the point I'm trying to make is I used to have to sit there every day and day in and day out and listen to her complain about how she wasn't getting paid enough, how she hated this job. I'm quitting this job. Fuck this. I'm going to fucking do security, internet, online security, and all this.
I was saying the same thing.
And I'd be like, well,
about,
then go.
what's her face in the small old lady Cato.
Yeah.
She'd do the
They
same
she
thing.
complained, and I'd be like, well,
And
and I actually wanted to be
And-
there,
and-
and they laid me off because I was more skilled and cost more money. And she thinks somehow, some way, she wanted all this. I'm like, no, you literally lost. You know what I mean? What happened is you refuse to learn
Because-
anything, so
and-
you refuse to
because I
become more
also think
valuable
that-
to a company.
that they're eventually that those are people that
Yeah,
I think Luke, Adam, within a year's time, they're gonna be
too expensive.
not well, you know, I mean, maybe the numbers might be, but they're just gonna have to come to the realization of, you know what, you're either too expensive and you're not giving me anything more.
Yeah.
You're not. And
Yeah.
so, and as a company, we're ready to make our next move, and we can get somebody a lot more dynamic than
Yeah.
what you're offering.
And I
And
just,
and
yeah,
and
listen to people saying I'm underpaid, and then me going, I know I make more money than you, and I'm underpaid. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think about what I had to do just to get where I was at, and going, you don't have half these skills. What makes you feel entitled to make more money than me? You know what I mean? And so, it was just crazy how all of a sudden I saw the whole dynamic change where, you know, Thomas I had a meeting with Tabby, and Tabby was like, "I'm gonna tell him I want more money." You know what I mean? And so she came out feeling good, in a great mood about the whole meeting. And I was like, "Well, maybe he gave her more money." I'm like, "But it's like I can't imagine it's more than me." A person he told me I was supposed to be running this whole department. He sees me running this department. Um, and so I started having conversations with Thomas. I was like, "Man, I just feel like I'm not getting paid enough." Like I feel like I know my value and I know what I'm willing to accept under that value. And I'm like, and I just, I wouldn't mind. And I'm like, and I was just telling him, I was like, what I would like to do is move up in the company, earn my money. You know what I mean? Don't give it to me just because I've been here. Let's move me, give me a leadership position, do something.
And that's sometimes
And he was telling me there's no
easier
room for
for-
growth here. And I was like, wow, that just tells me that I've hit my ceiling here already.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the only other growth would be if you were to take his job.
Well, no, I'm saying like if me and Danilo were to split the job, you know what I mean? Because even
What growth were you talking?
I don't know.
What more tasks could you have taken on?
I have no idea. But all I was telling him, I was like, that's my point though.
Is that
That's my point.
is
What
that-
more could I have done? I'm doing so much
What
here.
if you wanted to?
Can I at
I'll
least
tell
get
you,
paid for it?
I'll be honest. My thought is the only thing that you could have done more than what you were doing is if you would have gone to Davide and said, "Hey, I can run this warehouse more efficiently than what Thomas does."
Yeah. Well,
And that's the growth that you were searching for.
and Thomas, so
And,
and what happened
then-
was
and so basically, if you were what you were doing was you were going to Thomas saying, "I need growth," and he's hearing, "Oh, you want growth," meaning you want my position,
I don't know.
and because that's the only thing that you could have done more.
I don't think so because
What more could because he was is involved in much as in the sales a little, not necessarily sales as in sales, but he was involved in those conversations, which you weren't.
I understand.
He
all
was
that.
he was involved in the
It wasn't
That's-
so much growth. It was more like I would like a little more responsibility. If you want to make me
that's what I mean by
completely in charge,
that's what I mean by growth. Is what responsibility could you have had
I don't know. Maybe
talking to the customers themselves?
I don't know, but I just know that they want to grow the company, but they don't want to grow the warehouse. And it's like, well, okay.
Of course not.
And
It
so
costs money.
and so I would just be like, all right, well, what's going on here? And whereas Tabby would just be like, I just want money. I don't want to learn anything. And I think that to choose her over me is a mistake, because she's a very toxic kind of personality. Like how her mood goes is how everyone's day goes. And it's like, but you're not in charge of us. What the fuck? Like it was such a miserable experience. They pulled me away from receiving and put me next to her. And I wasn't allowed to really express like, listen, this girl is clearly she hates it here. And misery loves company, and she's making it hard for me to get through the day because she's raining her misery down on me. And she hates it here. She hates it. I couldn't complain about her because for some reason Thomas was protecting her. It's like, well, she's a woman on the job site or something. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know, but for some reason it was like I gotta protect her, and I'm like, good luck with unskilled labor. And you think you're gonna put out, you put shit in, you get shit out. So you guys have chosen to go with the 22-year-old kid, 25-year-old kid, and none of them have any skills. So you want unskilled labor and a temp from Samoa or whatever he was from, the Pacific Islands. I was like, okay. And you want people to pay fucking $15,000 for these machines? Okay. So I thought, I was like, all right, well, I see where this company's going. They're taking a very modern day American approach, like the Boeing approach. Let's squeeze as much labor for as little as possible cost. And look, we got Boeing. Made in America, my ass, bro. Made in America don't hold as much weight as it used to. I mean, it's even guitars. I'll buy a Japanese guitar any day. Made in Japan guitars, Half my fucking pedals are made in Japan. I specifically go for certain ones that I know are made in Japan because the
And I'll be
manufacturing in
honest,
Japan is
I
legit.
think that, and this is something that I don't think people put enough account into. Americans need to quit being crybabies.
Amen.
Hey, we deserve. Say,
Amen.
no.
Ain't no deserve nothing. Well
What
done, oh,
do you
shit.
deserve because of what your great grandfather did?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well done,
What
oh,
are
shit,
you
man.
What are you doing? What
Yeah.
are you're not telling that person that's committing a crime not to do it.
Yeah.
You're not out there on the street saying, hey, why don't you do this instead of that? You're not being a more positive outlook on things and saying, hey, why don't you, join up with us instead of the loser over there?
Mhm.
Quit your crying and saying you deserve shit. And
Yep.
that's an American thing right now.
No shit. Entitlement.
And-
oh my god.
Right.
It's a
Entitlement.
sickness around here, man.
And so that's why when I'm out there and and I was telling you earlier, I'm out there at 1 o'clock in the morning smoking a cigar. People are I don't feel afraid. And granted, that's a me personally. I'm going to acknowledge this. I want to make sure I say this to my own self.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. But is being an encouragement to other, to these downtown ambassadors when they
Yeah, I get that.
okay. But also now I don't know, this is kind of going down a little shaky road, so let's not dwell on it. But I can tell you when on a daily routine, when I'm walking to and from home on First Avenue, it's not scary.
Yeah.
Right. And I
That's
said
the busiest street in the whole state.
and
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just watching individual women younger than more than half my age. They're not walking, looking.
you don't think they are, do you? You man. I
Okay,
know
like I
everyone
said,
is out there.
I shouldn't have gone down this road because you're just going to refute me.
I'm not. It's not that unrealistic to say that those women are walking out there. If they're walking alone, they're
Because
still
we
walking out there
everybody
guarded and worried that maybe something's
everybody
gonna happen.
ev- I-
You know, they're
everybody
looking
does.
for the
If you're
safest
a
route.
person that doesn't,
They want to go
Now,
there.
now let me tell you,
not
let me
over
ask you
there.
let me ask you this question: when in history of time has it not been like that?
What has it not been like? What, Seattle?
Where anybody has to be aware of their surroundings.
I don't know, man. Because in New York, it's not like that. The Manhattan's pretty safe. You can't argue that. And you know why? It's because there's people everywhere. The worst thing you got to worry about is getting your purse snatched.
And
Your
that's
wallet
what,
lifted.
and that's
Like, you definitely ain't worrying about crackheads passed out or fentanyl addicts out on the street. I've watched guys just pull their dicks out and just take a piss right in the middle. The other day, I was just trying to make a left-hand turn, and there was this fucking mentally ill person just standing in the middle of the street, just not moving. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
yeah. No,
Like,
no.
Seattle has a problem. Now, it's not fucking Southside Chicago, you know what I'm saying? But
maybe
it's
that's
pretty
what
bad.
I'm speaking about too.
It's pretty bad out
I
here.
mean, there's a lot of things that are obvious. Okay. And I'm not trying to ignore the fact that there isn't shit that is going on out there. But when I'm watching people coming off the ferry, I mean, you're walking on the waterfront right now, and dude, it is more than pleasant.
Yeah, and these
Okay.
are all going to be the touristy spots. They want it to be like that. You know what I mean? They're going to have extra police presence in these spots, all that stuff. But you literally walk a couple blocks, it's just like Vegas. Take a block or two off the strip. You're in the danger zone, bro. And it's like that in Seattle.
And that's where I started this little section I just said. When in history has anybody not had to be guarded about their surroundings? In history, exactly.
Not like this though.
Even
it ain't even. But come on, man. You always go to these extremes. I'm talking about
No.
Seattle.
Okay, I mean,
Seattle.
not to be. I mean, sure, I'll bring it up as a religious thing, whatever. But Jesus, he even said, "Hey, it's always going to be there."
Okay. Wait,
And so
you're getting all philosophical on me. I'm talking about facts. The facts
And
that
that's-
Seattle
and
has
that-
become it's
so if you,
significantly less
if you
safe
believe that a
than
religion
it was
such
10
as
years
that
ago.
has any credo, has any cred,
Right?
any credibility, if you think a religion like that has any credibility, then you could say, hey,
You go to these extremes, dude. Like I'm not
It's not
getting
an
all
extreme.
religious. I'm talking about, dude. Look outside in Seattle, and you're like, people are. I see people everywhere. Yeah, it's a city. It's a big city. But compared to other big cities, you don't see that many people. You know what I mean? Walking around, and half those people walk around waiting for something to happen. Like it wouldn't be uncommon for something to happen. It just wouldn't surprise people. Put it that way. Alki. I have to constantly hear about shit going on in Alki. Dead bodies washing up on the fucking shore. Fucking people getting hit by cars. About the fucking the guy driving the wrong way in the West Seattle Bridge 6 months ago, last summer. Killed those two fucking kids because he was drunk out of his mind. You know, like it's just a lot of crazy shit because you know what I mean? Like criminals feel like they just got a free pass out here. It's pretty bad because drug addicts they don't treat it's not the problem, you know, it's the fact that these guys are getting high out in the streets. That's the problem, you know? So it's like they're like, well, being a drug addict shouldn't be illegal. And it's like, well, that's not the illegal part. It's getting high in public and just being passed out on the fucking street in your own fucking piss and shit. When we're trying to have tourism come and boom this town up, you're holding us back, you know? You're either with us or you're not. The vast majority would prefer us to move forward. And here you are stuck not doing anything for you. We're trying to offer you all the help we can give you. At what point do we have to go, all right, man, let's, you know, our hands are tied. We can only lead a horse to water, you know? It's like, so get out of here, go. In New York, that's what they did. You know, they had a huge problem. Dude, Times Square used to be Lower Manhattan, all that. It used to be, it was bad. It was bad. Porno shops everywhere. It's just fucking bad. You definitely want to walk there at night. You know, and Seattle's become like that. Like your neighborhood, where you live, going up on like 12th and fucking what's that cross street over there? 12th and Jackson and 12th, you know, that shit's I mean, I can look tough as a guy, but even as a guy, worry about someone coming up and fucking with me in some way or another. It wouldn't be unreasonable for me to expect in that neighborhood for someone to come and try to rob me walking down the street. If I was by myself and I ended up in a dark area, I'd be like looking around, like, "Yo, this would be a perfect place to rob somebody." You know, I would not walk around the neighborhood without some kind of weapon or something. That's just I as a guy. You can only imagine. I never see women walking around there by themselves
but
at night.
but the thing is, I think that's where you're a little bit mistaken. Is I'm out there every day, and I watch individual women doing that. I watch individual young men who are half the size of me doing the things that you say they don't do. I'm like,
And they're not crackheads. Are they tweakers?
no, they are not. They're normal people just like me.
I don't know, man. I see.
I'm watching old folk that are in their 70s going to the markets in and out. And I think that
And what's the problem with those markets? Why do they keep shutting down?
I just think that I think you got
You know what, dude? That neighborhood got so bad that they literally had to put fencing around damn near half the businesses, barbed wire fence, put a police precinct in the fucking parking lot, and move the bus stop because it was just an open air drug flea market. They were like, "All right, this is out of control." It was so bad that they're like, "We gotta fucking do something about this." That's just reality, man. Seattle
But
kicked
I'm
out
also- but I'm also
75% of the police
that
force.
there's more people that do walk that street than you think don't.
Yeah, well, and I guarantee you, that's increasing their odds for something happening.
But it doesn't happen as often as you're trying to make it seem like it does.
It happens all the time. It happens a lot more
But
than
you
you
don't
think.
watch the news, so how would you know?
I watch, bro. I know enough. Come on. Yeah, like I'm walking around just ignorant, just like not even paying attention to
Let's
Seattle.
go there right now.
I don't know
Let's
what's
go there right
going on.
now.
I'm not hanging around your fucking neighborhood at night. No thanks.
Let's go there right
I'm
now
good.
and let's just hang out for an hour.
Oh,
Let's
in
go
the
there.
day? No, I'm
No,
good.
seriously.
No,
It's
I've
gonna
been
be
there
dark.
and-
It's going to be dark in an hour. We can go watch the
I'm good.
Indian game at my house afterward, and then you can see the before and after light and dark.
Bro,
You
I-
drive.
Listen, man, you
But
get on
you're-
the bench
you're-
about
but
here,
you're-
but I
no,
know where you live, dude.
No, I think honestly, I think you're afraid to be proven wrong.
I watched them light a fire on the corner of your block, and they were all getting high around the fucking fire on the city corner. They literally lit a fucking fire. They were all just warming themselves around like stereotypical bums. You know what I mean? Like I was like, geez, dude, this is Skid Row back here. I was laughing because I wasn't scared because I knew they were just getting high, right? But if I, because I know they don't want any problems because I know they just want to get high. But if I was just a woman, they know but I lived that lifestyle. I
that's
live on
what
the streets, bro.
But let's go and you will see instead of just your imagination.
I sit in my truck and I watched them, dude, while I was waiting to pick you up. They're just down there like, dude, might as well been roasting marshmallows and shit. They were just
No, let's go there right now. And I think that but you're afraid to be proven wrong.
I'm not wrong, dude. You know that.
Let's go.
You're
Let's
afraid
go.
to just admit that Seattle has some ghetto ass tendencies, dude. That's ghetto shit, bro. Come on. That's some shit I've seen. I don't even see that shit in New York anymore. Maybe in like the really deepest parts of fucking the Bronx or something, you know? But like, motherfuckers standing around a barrel with their fingerless gloves. It's just the shit's on fire. They're all
think
sipping
you're living
bottles
in
and
a
getting
fantasy.
high.
And I'm not saying that shit doesn't exist either.
I watched it with my own two eyes.
And that's the thing is, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that those things are not there.
Mhm.
Okay, but this idea that, how can I say it, that there isn't business that's been successful, right? That it's just a shithole. Like there's murders happening, like every 5 minutes and shit like
I
that.
didn't
Like,
say that, dude.
but that's the image
I said
that you're
crime.
creating.
It's a crime. At one point, I seen anybody getting killed. I said they were getting high. It's just drinking around a fire in the street. That's ghetto shit, dude. Just a bunch of drug addicts hanging out in the streets.
Mhm.
And the crime comes from them stealing and get high and shit like that, you know? And that's what happens. I didn't see anything about murder. I'm talking about the dope fiends that are just like, all over this fucking city, just roaming. You know, they create these fucking these RV encampments. I've watched them cooking meth outside of my job in Georgetown. I was just like, Jesus fucking what? You know what I mean? Like I've seen all of this grime with my own two eyes. I've had cops literally tell me, if you're gonna open a business, because I was talking to a police officer about getting my settlement check.
Holy
And I wanted
shit.
to open up a business. And he goes, and if I can give you one recommendation, he goes, don't open it in Seattle.
How
And I
about-
said, why not? He goes, the insurance alone is going to put you out of business.
UW fired Mike Hopkins
Really? For what?
from his job.
I mean, like, why? They say, why?
Sorry, you're an idiot. Why else would they fire him?
Because he's really good. It's like when the Rangers fired Tortorella. You know what I'm saying? Took us to the fucking Stanley Cup, bro. The
Can't
fuck?
let him pass. Gotta move forward.
Yeah, right. Gotta move forward, just like Russell Wilson, man.
Exactly. You can't go on a retirement party.
No, I mean you gotta understand that his personality has moved forward. He's grown
No, he
up. He's
hasn't.
grown as a
No, he
man.
hasn't.
Yes, he has.
That's why the Giants are banging down his door. That's why the New
We're
Orleans
banging
Saints,
down his door. dude.
That's why the New Orleans Saints are like, you know what?
Yep.
We're gonna go and get rid of our guy because we want Russell. You know what? That's why the Chargers are like, you know what?
What's the Saints guy?
But you don't hear that.
Hey,
Hey,
Derek Carr.
there's nobody talking about wanting to sign Russell Wilson.
They just talked already. It's been a day, and they talking about two teams: Steelers and the Giants. They definitely have interest.
The media want to.
The
But
media is literally the outlet for these guys' agents. They
But-
don't put out information that's false. They're not allowed to. They have to fucking
But
put
you're
out.
looking at it from the player. They're trying to create their image.
I don't know, man.
The players are creating their. Is the team creating their image? No.
I think
Dude, you stink, Munchkin. Dude, you have got the worst gas.
they say that's what Frenchies are notorious for.
Holy.
Yeah, even I went on YouTube. One of the girls goes, "Yeah, pros to I was like pros and cons to a Frenchie." And one of the first guys, she goes, "Okay, con number one, big con, they fart." I was like, "Really?" And then yeah, well, I've been noticing. I'll sit here and I'll hear him just rip one.
No, I'm actually quite impressed, to be honest. But
Like he'll just rip a fart and be like, "Oh," and then he won't even budge. I'll be like, "Did somebody just open the door?" Just creak. Rudy Gobert is insane. He's so good. That's like a 7-footer. Look at this guy. He couldn't even. Wow. Jared Allen just stoning on the dunk. Oh. I almost got Dikembe.
I think Dwight Howard in that mix. 3 of them.
I know, huh? Dwight Howard, sneaky Hall of Famer.
Like, I know you're the one that put me out here.
I know. Who wants a banana? You want a banana? You want a banana? My chiquita banana. I do 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 do. Chiquita banana. I just think you're all healthy stuff. Man, I've been going to the gym. I've been doing so. I started ramping it up. I switched from the recumbent bike to the regular stationary bike, which is harder on my knee, but gotta maintain. Um, and I'm going from 10 miles to 13 miles. I'm doing an extra 3 miles, and then a 1 mile cool down. What? Look at lady at the grocery store the other day, or last week, check my ID. You age well. What do you want? Rotisserie puppy. Dude,
Let's fucking with me, man.
what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, brother? Little pig. Little piglet. Maybe some bacon in it. Noodles. Okay. My little buttercup. Ah, down, down. There you go. That guy's over.
Alright, so we end this recording of what we're doing. We were,
I'm ready for the game.
I thought we were watching the game here.
I just had the NBA on. But you hate the NBA.
I just don't think it's like one that I wholly invested in investing in.
I don't know, I just wear them.
No, I know.
There's no like real.
5:30 is when the next NHL games are on,
Really?
but it's on, not gonna be on the Fubo. Gonna be on.
What's the Menards?
Go to,
Racing?
what you wanna call it? Input 2, HDMI 2.
Uh. Florida will miss. Wait, what the? Now it updated everything.
Oh, fucking game is blacked out for the Kraken tonight. Kidding me? Or is it? No, it'll be on.
I was gonna say, what?
No, they did that last week too.
Oh,
Fucking-
snap, Moesha's on. Yeah, no, I just don't. Blackouts are so dumb. I think if you pay a subscription, they shouldn't exist. HDMI 2. Yeah, like cable television has basically come back. Shit is basically the way it used to be.
Okay, the Kraken game is on tonight.
Yeah.
Slightly on.
Murph's Minute. My little buttercup.
You have the volume on?
Oh.
Maybe not.
Oh, she doesn't let your team. She been made super just right from the floors and fence. They act and these people are more responsible. Gives them more sharp face from the horse.
Replay?
This is the Cubs network.
Oh, that was another
Right,
one.
right,
But
but
you
because-
watching growing up with Harry Carey, because the Cubs were, hats all over the country. So I get to watch Cubs games in the middle of the game.
Game finished up 9.
Oh, thanks. I mean, big part of all.
But
When's
if
opening
you would have
day?
been listening to somebody who was in the
When's
know,
opening day?
you
Ask me a
wouldn't-
question.
and if you would have listened to somebody who had the answer, is that this is the replay of the game earlier today. It's the Cubs network.
We're playing last year's playoff game. I heard you. Oops. What?
Farts a lot.
There parts a lot. Parts. And then other smells can't get in there. Listen, them other smells can't get in there. So when's opening day? Like, is it April or the last week of March?
I haven't paid too close attention to this.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, it's still. Actually, it's not. It's getting close.
No, it's super
A few
close.
weeks.
But I don't know. I'm just more excited about other things than you know. Honestly, was it for
Opening day.
and there's various reasons for me personally. I'm not saying that this is the way I'm like saying this is a trend or anything else. Saying for me personally, I just have some other different rooting interests in things or different things I'm looking at. Than,
March 28th.
you know, it's
I'm interested in seeing how the onions.
I personally kind of find it turns me off what the NBA is these days. It literally it turns me off. Like I think to me it's so pathetic.
Really?
Honest to goodness,
So is that right?
it is so. I think that the NFL has become. I mean, you heard this. You heard the guys today, TC and the guy. They argued the same point, the same conversation, 5 times, and they're like, "Yeah, I hear you. Okay, move on to the next part of the conversation."
They're
And
radio
there-
hosts, bro.
and there's no more conversation. Okay,
They're radio.
then you talk about a different subject. But and all it is just how can I talk? I think there's more to life than just sitting around people talk, listening to people talk. You know?
Which is what we're hoping people will do to us right now.
And that's what and I have no problem saying this.
Irony of that statement.
And that's what I'm saying. I have no problem that nobody is even watching us or that we aren't putting more of an
You
effort
just
to
think
make
they're
this.
dumb.
No. I'm saying
You think what they're
personally,
doing is stupid.
I say that there's more of an interest of either subject matter that could be talked about instead of either making excuses about things or whatever.
I was on baseball or I was on
Okay.
baseball.
so and
It's literally it's like, hey man, you gonna be when's opening day? Well,
And so-
fucking
and so that's what I'm saying.
what's
And so that's what I'm saying is personally, I have a lot more different interests than so I can't say I've been paying super close when it's opening day. I'm not excited about the Mariners. I am just plain outright done with watching what the Mariners do.
You talking to a Knicks fan. Okay.
Okay. And
Well, we got our hopes up for about 5 minutes this year. Now look at us fucking taking a nosedive ever since
the Mariners have become such a laughing stock.
I don't think so, dude.
Dude, they were made fun of in the US Congress. They don't even do the same thing about Yankees or the Cubs. The US representatives
They made
go
a
out
whole
there-
movie about the fucking Cleveland Indians, a whole fucking franchise about how bad they are. I
Okay,
don't want to hear about the Mariners. Try being a fucking Cleveland fan.
you're talking about the what was it? How I Met Your Mother, right? One of the more recent popular shows that were out there in pop culture, right? Pop culture, say for whatever it is, right? But the guy said, inviting your ex to a wedding is just like inviting the Mariners to the World Series. It's just awkward. It's just like
self-hating Seattle fan, dude. You don't apply for anything.
no, it's because nobody else realizes the reality. And how else can we get the ownership to sell to somebody who's actually serious?
I don't know, man, because I had to live around Mets fans, Islanders fans, fucking you name it, man. Devils fans, and Devils actually won. But like, I'm a Knicks fan. Like I had to be around all these same kind of teams. Like that's the thing about New York. As much as the Yankees win, the Mets lose. You know what I mean? And they dwell in the same city. So I rub elbows all my life with people who just like you were like, man, we're never gonna fucking.
I'm not
I
saying
mean,
that
but at
we're-
least the Mets won a World Series,
What I'm
But
saying
it's New York though, so the chances are higher. What are you barking at?
higher. But yeah, I can't call out for
You're talking about his personality. I'm talking about
I'm
the
saying
team,
player
the product
too.
of the
I'm
team.
saying player.
The play he won you a damn Super Bowl. We demand
11
more.
years ago. He's past his prime. He's way past his prime.
Whatever, dude. If Eli won it, it was even longer for us than Eli. And I'm not sitting there going, Eli, but if Eli wanted to come back and have a retirement tour, which we wanted him to do, we wanted him to come back and play for us. What? He's not high. What? Keep marking it.
I think his balls are fine.
He saw something and he like fucked with him. It must have been like a combination of my phone going off.
He started look. Yeah, he really was. He looking at the cords and something on the ground.
Yeah. There's nothing there. Yeah, I fucking stepped outside with a fucking juicy rat. Like that's so. Let's just fucking keep a meat. 6 eggs.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, throw that shit on the grill.
Yeah,
Oh, give it to the dogs.
yeah, there you go.
You imagine just taking that hard ass rat and put it crunch, just crunching it through it. I just want to barf right now. Think of it. I had to take it out of this guy's mouth. He started carrying it around like it was one of his fucking dog toys. I was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get that out of your fucking mouth. He started running away from me with the shit in his mouth. Like, God damn it.
Not just a player, with that sinker, he's trying to let the ball in the air and
Think that the thing about for me, he was a Mariner fan, growing up, like your life, is seeing the whole rise and fall and watching like the bamboozle that they try to, the ownership tries to pull on the fans. And as much as there are fans that try to follow, I think that what has happened over the last 2 or 3 seasons is you've had fans that have tried to overcome the bamboozling, and that's why they've come out in the numbers that they have. It's like, hey, you know what? Owners, we know you're idiots. And so we are going to try and do something, but it's not in the same degree as like a Yankee or a Cubs or a White Sox fan or a Dodger, whatever. It's a Seattle Mariner, people. It's just a different personality, right? And we're just struggling out here to get past that.
That's your problem. You guys, you're talking about dwelling in the past.
So we're trying to get past
You
it.
motherfuckers will
And-
not move
but the thing
forward
is-
and be like, hey,
But the thing is that the ownership isn't doing the right things. They literally had the general manager have to walk back everything he was saying in press conferences because he's like, well, I guess what I said was kind of wrong. And it was his friend, Scott Service, the manager, who went face to face and was like, dude, we almost have like a full-on revolt going on in the clubhouse right now. And
well, that's bad ownership and all that shit. I get that.
exactly.
But if you're a fan of the team, you're a fan of the team. Bad.
We're still the fan of the team, but we aren't going to keep, you know, saying you're making excuses for him.
Like I said, I'm a Knicks fan. The Knicks haven't done shit since, and I can't even say the Ewing years because we didn't win anything. So it was like we haven't done shit since the Frazier years in the '70s. It's been 50 fucking years for us. You know what I mean? Like long time. So as a Knicks fan, I feel you. You know what I mean? I'm like, the Knicks are good. Like, yeah, right, sure.
And that's some of the thing that's kind of giving me hope is I remember the fact that, you know what, I know a guy who can relate, and he's not wrong when he's talking about the Knicks and how similar it is. And so that's what kind of that's what pulls me back off the edge, you know, is the fact that, okay, I'm not saying that there's hope, but when we complain about the Mariners, don't think that we're wrong for doing it, because we know we're right for what we're doing and what we're saying.
Yeah,
But there's just,
I still don't like. It's not like I hate on ex Knicks players stuff because of what. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Carmelo Anthony wasn't exactly the coolest guy. You know what I mean? He wasn't the most likable guy. Let's put it that way. You know,
right.
very hard to like the guy. But as a Knicks fan, I will always respect him for playing for us and trying his ass off for us despite the circumstances and everything stacked against him, how much hate he was receiving, all that shit, you know. Hit me with A-Rod. Not exactly the most likable guy, especially when he admitted he was doing steroids. You know what I mean? Like, he made me really hate that championship that we won with him. That's the only one that I'm like, ugh, I hate that one. I don't know how. I just don't like it. But he's still able. And I'm still like, well, he's still a Yankee, you know what I'm saying? And he's still on our team.
Yeah.
And we'll still honor that. And he may in real life be a total douchebag, but his professional life is what I'm honoring. You know what I'm saying? Is his sports accomplishments and what he's done for my sports franchise that I've been a fan of. My whole family's been a fan of, you know? It's like, yeah, you might suck as a person, but like I say, separate the art from the artist. His artistry was pretty magnificent.
Yeah. And
A-Rod could hit the shit out of a baseball. And he was a pretty damn good third baseman / shortstop. Yeah. You know?
But I also think out here is
amazing, actually.
For us here, when I'm talking about Seattle and Russell Wilson, it's like
Yeah.
at some point we can't just coddle these, coddle them,
I know, at some point you need to demand something.
We have
You gotta be like, what the fuck, man?
and that's what I'm saying about the whole Russell Wilson thing. So I want to say blank. That's not the right word. I'll
Concede?
No, not even concede. I want to acknowledge the fact that you're right that there is going to be a certain amount of fans and a certain amount of just acknowledgement for how good of a player and what he did do, and that's deserving. And there is going to be a certain number of fans that will, but I think the number of fans that don't want to go through that process of him being the number one guy, put Gino on the bench just because of the whole story that you're presenting. I think that far outnumbered.
But I think if you present
Shady Eight,
I think if you present it logistically,
no,
it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think so. The amount of money you would save, the amount of money you would save by simply adding Russell Wilson and cutting Geno Smith.
We've already proved that, like you said, with the Mariners, with Ken Griffey Jr. and
I'm just saying. And Russell Wilson was a top 10 quarterback last year. Was Geno top 10 last year? Was Geno top 10 last year?
I think he was in QBR.
Didn't he get injured?
And he was still in quarterback efficiency and all of those stats. Yes.
Yeah. But the point being is
that's the point that you were. What was it?
So
like? Yes.
So you would take a lateral move as a quarterback and save $10 million that you could literally disperse elsewhere to retain your good players or get something in free agency, build, right? And you still got essentially the same quarterback for a fraction of the price, is what I'm saying.
I don't think.
Right? So in the end, you're saving all this money so you can build up the rest of your team, right? You're building up the rest of your team, and then when the time comes, you draft the guy.
On a day-to-day
You draft the
basis,
guy and you place him in there, And now you're paying him a rookie salary, and you've got the money to keep paying this team around him so you can go towards multiple championships. The Chiefs have been doing it for years, dude. You know what I mean? They built the team, and then they put Patrick Mahomes in there, and it was like, damn, they had Tyreek Hill. Who the fuck was their running back that one year? They had Dwayne Bowe. Remember fucking dude? They had some pretty. You know what I mean? Like they had a solid team before he said it. They had Andy Reid already as the coach. You know, so they had a setup to put him in. You know, and I think Russell Wilson, you're not bringing him in anywhere as a long-term solution. Any team that picks him up, no one's picking him as a permanent solution.
And I think by
No one.
but by bringing them back to Seattle, you're
It'd be a budget move.
no.
You're already rebuilding.
What it is you're inviting chaos by bringing this.
I don't think it'd be so much. I think, but at the same time, it's
It's
going to sell tickets. It's
No.
the ability to sell tickets
And you're
in
not,
a rebuilding year.
you're
you know what I'm
not
saying?
selling tickets.
Would you argue that you're
Not
rebuilding?
yeah.
Would you argue that you're rebuilding?
No, I think that they're making the moves that hey, you know what? If we get the right guy,
What position are you drafting this year?
they're doing defensive line
No, I mean like what
and
number?
offensive line.
What number is your draft order?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
Let's see. Right? Because it all depends on your draft order whether or not you know what I mean. Because first of all, you don't have a quarterback long.
Position.
Be great to see get in on the fans, bring it back.
All right.
He left. See,
Seahawks Storms
meetings, Major League Baseball.
16.
Roughly 16.
34 games, 239 batting average.
Mm-hmm.
Seems small.
Probably get something pretty damn good right there.
I noticed right there, should we drop the arm slot?
They say it could be easier said than done to replace quarterback Geno Smith this all season based on his inconsistent play and the flexibility they have to get out of his contract. They don't want Geno. He's not a long-term solution, and they'd rather pay a guy to just hold the offense down while they rebuild. You know, their run game is lacking. They have no offensive line. The whole offense is just, which is crazy that they hired a defensive coach. To me, but
Looking at the NFL.com saying improving an underwhelming defense, starting with signing Leonard Williams to a new deal after giving up the second round pick for his services.
Yep.
And replacing potential free agents like left guard Damian Lewis should be a high priority. That's at the NFL.com. Biggest needs is linebacker, interior offensive lineman, defensive tackle, edge, and safety.
pretty much the whole thing. They basically need like
Everything,
offense.
No,
And
actually, no. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions that they list on here. 4 of those 5 are defense.
Yeah.
The other one is interior offensive line, meaning guard or center. Not their biggest need, not quarterback.
That's what ESPN is now.
This is the NFL.com.
Yeah, ESPN is great. So they want to get on Geno. Seahawks 3-time Pro Bowlers, Adams, Diggs. Jamal Adams got Diggs and Quandre Diggs. Will Disley. I mean, they're rebuilding, bro. You know? It's a rebuild.
So you don't bring back Russell Wilson because you're rebuilding your starting.
I'm just saying it wouldn't be the dumbest thing they ever did. It wouldn't. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm saying it wouldn't be a dumb move. It would save them money, and it would sell. It would still put butts in the seats, and it would give them flexibility to build a team until they can get off of Russell Wilson because they're not paying him. So it's like once that contract's up, they can be like, all right, well, cut
Russell
you.
Wilson is not putting butts in the seat.
No, and Russell Wilson is no one's long-term solution anymore. You know, so Seattle can be in that discussion as well. Because we know he's not a long-term solution. You know, but he's someone we can keep here until we get one, which would be soon, if not this year. But they're drafting 16. So they can still get a quarterback though. There's like at least 5 or 6 damn good quarterbacks. And at 16, they might even be able to pull out Penix or Bo Nix. You know, or the Oregon kid up here in Seattle. But Gino, I mean, isn't he older than Russell Wilson?
They right now they've already have established. They practice already. They do workouts together. Is Gino and Mike Penix. All last college season, Michael Penix was doing workouts with Gino during the season.
Yeah.
So they've already built a relationship.
Well, point being, is Gino was definitely not your long-term solution. People were surprised that he even made it this far. Let's face it. You know?
No, yeah, no, and I'm not trying to. I mean, you text to my brother.
I mean, he played for my Giants, so like even I was like, Geno's, what the fuck? Like I couldn't believe that that they traded Russell Wilson to start Geno Smith. That to me was like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? And of course, Geno has been playing with a chip on his shoulder.
And that's what I'm saying is that's how disgusted they were.
I think it's just how much Carroll and Russell Wilson didn't like each other.
Yeah, well, because Russell Wilson just had so much high maintenance shit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why people aren't banging down the doors and saying, and everybody's, all they're doing is they're just creating this hype that, oh, wouldn't it be? I think, but it's not really based in realities.
I don't know, man. Like,
but no, and I also want to acknowledge, I hear the romanticism of what you're saying. You know what? It would be cool if they pulled out, a Major League Cleveland Indians, story, or whatever movie, Little Big League, whatever, Angels in the Outfield kind of, Disney.
Most teams have sucked for a long time.
And so
those are perennial losers.
And so, but what I'm saying is, I get the idea
could you imagine having Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on your team and doing absolutely nothing? Imagine being an Angels fan. You know what I mean?
They won.
You've seen the playoffs.
Was that one?
More recently than the fucking Angels have seen. You know what I mean? The Angels, dude, to be an Angels fan, holy shit. And also, you're right there next to the Dodgers.
I think the Mariners are the only team left to never have made the World Series.
Yeah, but that's inevitably going to change. The Cubs, it took them forever to win a World Series too. But
I'm saying make the World Series.
I understand that.
Every other team in existence has made it to the World Series, except the Mariners.
Okay. I don't know. I get it. I get it. The Mariners, we suck. We're never going to be good.
No, it's not that. It's just, when are we going to get an ownership back to acting like a baseball team instead of a marketing team?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just, you have to have the right owner.
And that's
what I'm saying. I mean, as much as people hate Jerry Jones, he wants his team to win. He's just really involved because he wants his team to fucking, you know what I mean? And he just not good enough to he wants to do all the work himself. He's a GM.
He wants to be the one that gets the credit for it.
And he doesn't recognize right football mind.
That it's the players that win. It's not.
Yeah, so he's the what we were dealing with Steinbrenner for years. Except at least Steinbrenner got us some championships. You know what I mean? Like that's what the Cowboys have now. They have their Steinbrenner. And these guys gonna go down in history, you know what I mean? Cowboys fans will be talking about Jerry Jones forever. But his legacy, he does not want to leave behind no championships. You know?
He has one championship.
But he did not I'm talking the 90s with Jerry.
So he's won championships.
He won one with Barry Switzer.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah. When he took over the team.
He won it with Jimmy Johnson, and
he fired Jimmy Johnson,
but he
hired Barry Switzer.
No, he fired Tom Landry and hired Jimmy Johnson.
Wait, no.
Yes, 100%.
No,
100%.
No. You're wrong. The point being is, if he was my team owner, I would be.
And that's what
They're worse.
for Mariner fans and Seahawk fans and just the general Seattle sport fan
We're
up here
What's your block?
is that we are we've been to the promised land now. We know what it's like to win a Super Bowl. Can we get back our owners to be like that instead of just a marketing YouTube 30-second clip? You know, instead of a TikTok sensation, you know? And that's all the Mariners are right now, is they're a T-Mobile TikTok sensation, nothing more.
I don't know what to tell you, man, because as a Yankee fan, I'm not exactly pleased with the product we put out there either, man. It's been a while for us.
You know?
You know?
Yeah.
It's been a while. And I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, all right, I mean, I'm a Rangers fan. We've won it once in the last 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to me. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're talking about. You know? I was 14 years old. The only time I ever saw the Rangers fucking win the Stanley Cup.
And at least you have fans that are realistic about the situation, and sorry, hold up. Make it sound like we don't have fans out here in Seattle that don't realize it. We're ready. We don't get recognized as being that type of a fan. We don't get credit for saying we demand better. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, if you were a Chicago Blackhawk fan or a Chicago Bear fan, we demand better out of our ownership. And
fan, man.
You know,
Bears fan too.
but that's what I'm saying is you guys have this persona, this identity in out here. Whenever we try to say we have a higher standard, out here, give us credit for saying yes, we do have a higher standard. You know, don't discredit. You know, like we don't, because just because we don't have the persona doesn't mean we don't have it. And that's what I'm saying. We can't get Russell Wilson again. As much as the romanticism of a Shady Acres retirement plan would be, I don't think we're not selling tickets. Like,
I don't think my point being is why not save the money and get a quarterback who's just as good, if not a little bit better than Geno?
Because
you're saving
because you're going to pay for it in maintenance and the loss of faith.
Maybe not, because eventually who's going to be their quarterback is probably a rookie who's going to be making even less money than what you're paying Russell Wilson. So it's like you would literally be saving a lot of money and giving yourself so much breathing room to build a squad financially, and they just raised the cap significantly this year.
But by having
even more money you've got to work with, and you already know all the quarterbacks that are in the building right now, none of them are your long-term guy, right? So why not just replace it with a cheaper guy who's just as good?
Because then you're going down the same Mariner road as they did with Ichiro and King of Virginia, where all of a sudden now you're like giving more reason for the fans to become cynical.
Well,
instead of being a serious,
I like to think though the NFL rebuilds happen a lot quicker than the Major League rebuilds. You know what I mean? Like, some Major League rebuilds. Look at the Kansas City Royals. You know what I mean? They won it, and then imagine being a Royals fan. You know, it's like, I better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, I guess.
And that's what we're saying out here in Seattle is like, let us be recognized for that.
Because you don't want to be recognized for.
And same with the Seahawk fans. Let us be recognized that, okay, it was nice, Russell. Thanks. Here's your flowers. This is great. It was a fun time, but we got to move on.
Yeah, but who's saying you're not moving on? You
literally
are.
You're killing us because you want us to bring him back.
My thing is you're killing two birds with one stone. You're moving on from him, right? By saving the money and building and using.
Do you really think Russell Wilson is the personality type to coach the next guy?
Bro,
no,
I would argue. I'm not saying you're bringing him in to be a mentor.
Then why are you bringing him in?
You're bringing him to save $10 million.
But what is he? But what does he
$15 million
provide
you're
you
paying
in the
fucking
mean-
Gino,
what-
whatever
But
it
he's
is.
not providing you anything other than just a body. I
A
would rather,
body, an experienced
rather- I-
body
I would
at an
rather-
extreme
but he's
discount.
not gonna he's not gonna coach anybody else.
Mhm. That's not what you're bringing him in for. You're bringing him in because you have an experienced body who's pretty good, who had a Pro Bowl caliber season last year almost. You know what I'm saying? Despite the situation stacked again, you can't even name one of his receivers, his running game. Who was his running back?
Yo, the Mariners.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't have shit last year.
Cal Raleigh.
Fucking, I'm telling you, Russell wouldn't be a permanent solution, but he definitely would be a nice bridge
He's a
until you got an
distraction.
actual
He's a
quarterback.
distraction.
You want a distraction from how bad the team's about to be. They're going to be bad. You need a distraction, dude. They're not going to be good for a couple of years. It's just the reality. I'm a Giants fan. I've watched my team struggle since the Super Bowl, since Plaxico shot himself in the fucking hip, dipshit, and ruined the whole season for us, dude. And ever since then, we haven't been good ever since then. It's crazy how that happened.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like only in New York.
Dude, literally, it was like that was the moment. It was like we were like undefeated. We were like 11-1 or something. Like we were like the odds-on favorite by far to win the Super Bowl that year. And then Plesko shoots himself, and then we lose every game for the rest of the year, the rest of the season.
Uh-oh.
We're out like the first round of the playoffs, and then we've just been absolutely awful ever since. Then we got rid of Coughlin. That whole deal with getting rid of Coughlin, and then McAdoo comes in, and then he benches Eli to start Gino. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, and then every Giants fan was pissed. Even me, I was pissed because he broke Eli's
Starting streak.
consecutive streak just to start Gino, and Gino didn't do a damn thing for us. And it was just like, yeah, it was crazy, man. Fucking,
I just think that if you're gonna have a veteran guy here, at least have a veteran who is wanting to be a mentor and not try to reclaim.
see, Russell Wilson doesn't want to be a mentor there. Nobody knows that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Everything
I
he's
do
ever-
know-
everything he's ever done in life is get the next person closest to him, whether it's a coach, a quarterback,
I just
Or-
think you could
or
pay.
a wide receiver. Anybody that's gotten close, anything that has taken any attention away from him, he's tried to get rid of.
I just think you can get mentors for much cheaper than $15 million. You can hire Russell Wilson and pay a mentor. He fucking $500,000. Pay some guy to mentor the team.
Especially if you have a guy who's already been working out.
Russell Wilson works out. He works on the airplane. Remember, and running up and down the aisle doing
I guess
It's sprints.
he's already been working out with the at one time most highly, like highly rated quarterback coming out of college.
Who?
Michael, at one point, for a brief period, Michael Penix, he was working out with him all last season during a Heisman campaign. So,
Michael Penix is like 30 years old.
yeah. So, I mean, I personally, I think that the fact that we have Ryan Grubb as the offensive coordinator is pretty interesting out here. The UW offensive coordinator with Michael Penix the last 2 seasons is now the Seahawks offensive coordinator. Okay, so the idea of having Gino being the mentor to Michael Penix, kind of welcoming him into the league, do that whole thing like you said, Kurt Warner and Eli Manning,
Yeah.
wouldn't be the worst thing. So for the Seahawks to go that route, as opposed, I would rather go that route than having this distraction of every day of having to listen to "Let's Ride." I mean, it's like, really, bro? Seriously? You still think you're this young hip kid? No, you're a full-grown adult. Act like it.
Mm-hmm.
Nickelodeon time is over. Okay? I mean, I mean, it's nice to have fun, do a spot here and there, you know, have a little fun with the kids, you know, play a little, you know, tag, a little, you know, this and that. But, you know, let's grow up a little bit, you know, but, and kind of like understand that you're about 3 plays away from being out the pasture and you've already, you know, made your bones. You know, you already, you know, laid the seed in Sierra. So it's, you know, you're
I just
soon
don't.
enough you're about to be grandpa.
I think somebody's gonna sweep him up. I think somebody's gonna sweep him up because he's just so cheap. I mean, I think a Hall of Fame quarterback for that discount. So, oh God, here we go. Every time. Anyways.
You got a chat.
Nope, apparently not.
No, well, I was about to. Sorry, I was already starting to head home.
Oh yeah. You gotta go to work.
Looking at it. And I'm like,
Those options are pretty good, man.
yeah,
Oh, how are those dogs? Those dogs are
oh no, yeah, I was here, dude. Those dogs were freaking.
pretty good. I
There's still folks like eating it that didn't say it, but dude,
Well, good, right?
it's freaking raw.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh man, I think the Seattle style with the cream cheese inside of it.
I personally I prefer the cream cheese on top.
I know. I prefer the cream cheese on the bun. Like a toasted bun.
Yeah. Oh, so
Dude, the first time I had it, I was like, what the hell is this? It's amazing.
I
Just walking out of a bar in Snohomish, like downtown Snohomish,
Yeah.
down.
everybody started doing it. Like
2
my
a.m.
buddy came back and he's like, dude, have you heard these things called Seattle? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? The Seattle dogs. It's like,
They're
the
getting
fuck? Oh, you just you mean like for those of us who've been putting cream cheese on our hot dogs like normal and now it's called a Seattle dog? Like,
I mean,
okay.
I never called it a Seattle dog. I just never.
Another goal from this.
I never seen anybody do that until I walked out of that bar that one time and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we were
I was like, this is amazing.
yeah, well, I can't remember what we were walking out of. It was something at the
This is perfect drunk food, that's for sure.
you know, we were coming out of like the bar somewhere something like that. Or down there or coming out of a Mariner game or something. I don't whatever the fuck it was. And you know, I just go up there and I'm just like, yeah, you know, this is like normal, you know? You know, oh, I guess it's called a Seattle dog now. I guess
Well, it's like
now
when you go to
called
the
a
Midwest and you go to McDonald's and they put mustard and ketchup on the burger. Like they don't do that anywhere else. Like in New York, just ketchup. Ketchup and onion. But, you know, whatever they do, they don't put mustard on their burgers. I love mustard on a burger, but if you go to like Ohio or some places like that, it's literally mustard and ketchup on them. And I'm like, damn, that's fucking, it's pretty neat. Certain places around the country, they eat their food a little bit. They have a little where it's like they you know, it's normal. You know,
Hey
they
man,
do
you
certain
didn't even
things.
notice my St. Patrick's Day socks, bro.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, I got like 4 different kinds like I've picked up.
Isn't it next Sunday? Next
See,
Sunday,
this weekend is gonna to today is the 7th.
It's 10 days from now.
No, today is the 8th.
It's
So,
whatever. It's on a Sunday. I'm down to celebrate. They don't do St. Patrick's Day like they do out here
No.
in New York. New York, they have parades, and every town on Long Island has a parade.
yeah, I know.
They go berserko for it. I love St. Patrick's. You can't get in a bar. The bars
Well,
are like lines out the door. Anything that's Irish pub, this, that, whatever.
here's the thing.
Saint Patty did that.
Because I lived it and I was out there in it and amongst it, stood in the lines.
Uh-huh.
We had something similar to that, but it died by about 2008.
Yeah.
I don't even know what caused it to die. I think that's what it was. It was the first recession. That when the auto dealers needed to be bailed out by the government in 2008.
Not Ford, but GM and
All of them, yeah, all of them.
everyone but Ford.
When they had to get bailed out, that was the first economic downturn that we had faced to that degree in such a long time. And that's what killed it out here.
I know. It was
Same thing with
They
the,
don't do anything like it. It was funny. I went to the Mariners game a couple years ago. I happened to be there on Irish Heritage night. So I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude. I didn't even know. I just happened to be there that night. I was like, perfect. But that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like on a big scale of Irish Heritage, anything out here in Seattle. I was like, where's the St. Patrick's Day parades and shit? Where's the pub that's like doing it? Or, you have to like search it out.
yeah,
It's
and
not-
no, and that's what I'm
In
saying.
New York, it's literally like everywhere you go.
Like,
You know what I mean?
they're already doing the advertisements on the Montreal radio station. They're like, yes, St. Patrick's Day parade. Get your.
So I miss about the East Coast, man. So many immigrants out there, whereas everyone out here is like third generation something, and that is in touch with their immigrant roots, as like a lot of New Yorkers are.
Well, our immigrant more have come from South America, and this half of the country because
Well, no,
That's-
this part of America, like a lot of the New York is a lot of it's an old town. America started in the East.
everybody was coming from Europe
That's
on
the
that.
point I'm trying to make.
And that's what I'm saying is everybody over here came from the South, and that was the
But
natural.
I'm talking about St.
immigration.
Patrick's Day.
And I'm saying that
The
our
Irish.
immigration is our immigrants. The origin of the immigrant is different out here. Like
It was
your
speaking specifically
immigrant,
of immigrant.
your Hispanic immigrant is not as heavy. Now, I'm not saying it's not heavy. It's not as heavy as what ours is compared to Irish. Like our Irish heritage immigrant, we have very low Irish immigrant heritage out here.
That's the point I'm making.
And versus South American. Whereas out there, your South American heritage
There's a
is
lot.
is not
Big.
it's not as much as the Irish is.
I don't know, man. There's a lot. You want to know about Spanish speaking cultures out of New York? You just
No,
think-
I'm saying it's but you get what I'm saying, that there is still like the history of it.
Well, the point I'm trying to make was Irish, and I think in New York, a lot of us are still in touch with we're still first, second, third generation Irish immigrants, right? Like me, I'm a third generation. Like my grandparents, my great grandmother, you know what I mean? Like they still spoke Gaelic, fresh off the boat, and it's like, whereas out here, they're a lot. There's more distance from your heritage. Out here, people know.
Dude,
They don't celebrate their Irish heritage out here like they do in New York because you're much closer to the epicenter of American Irish culture there, like Boston, New York, even Philly, and like, whereas out here, Irish culture doesn't, it's plenty Irish heritage out here, just nobody celebrates it like we do out in New York. And it's drives me crazy because I'm like, man, like fucking, St. Patty's Day is a great time. It's literally just celebrating Irish culture. It's the one day to celebrate Irish culture.
You're
being proud to be
there's also
Irish.
like, hey, let's move on, let's become more American too. There's always that aspect.
Yeah, but you never forget where you came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seriously, I have a very close connection with
but-
Irish culture. I mean, literally, I grew up.
But
So
you
good by it.
yourself are not Irish yourself, so
But I'm a direct. I'm 100% of Irish blood. Both my sides of my family literally immigrated from Ireland. Right. So, and that's just the way it is, man. Like literally, I spoke to my Irish immigrant family and stuff growing up. I mean,
no,
so it was like I have a close relationship with it. And so in New York, they teach you to be proud of your heritage. That's not for you. I'm not talking to you.